Hello everyone, Saturday, very quiet day, just doing the last call for predictions. So if anyone has missed out on their predictions and would like to enter their predictions, I am popping up now just to do so. Hello Ellie, how are you? I've got your predictions already. You're not one of the issues, you're not one of the problems. I hope you're Angela as well. I hope you're well. Um, and yeah, you've been sorely missed by everyone, but you still are putting your comments in, which is great. So yeah, big up to you, Ellie, to you and your daughter. Uh, Dakar is here. Dakar, yeah, I got yours, and yeah, you've done well because you put them in after the show from yesterday. There's another 3 people that have done that as well. So I've got all your predictions, so you're logged in, and I've also confirmed that. Yeah, it was just that there was a few people that were missing this week, so I wasn't sure where to get their predictions from. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a quick pop-up show to try and get predictions in now, because it's a slow day football-wise, because we're not playing, and when we're not playing, there's not much that people want to talk about. I mean, I'm quite happy to talk about other teams if need be, and if people want to say anything about other teams, I'm quite happy to discuss that. But yeah, we are not playing at the moment, so therefore, yeah, it's a quiet Saturday. And as I said, it was just to get the predictions in from certain people. So, Ellie, I have yours as well, and Dakaru, I have yours. For people out there at the moment that normally play, I'm missing Leo from Mile High, I'm missing Ash Pease, Wayne Bonner, Alex Stake Hilton, 3 for All, Gabriel 1, Elias, Vishal Punia, Dry Roasted Peanut, Who's News, Scott M, Jamie, Josh from Spurs Live, Brian Daigle, Soji from Penalty Spurs, Rich, Tom Markman, Sheree, Rich The Point, Rakesh, Nick D, Carl Simpson, Jacob, David the Irish Hotspur, Josh from Speaking Spurs, Boris Britt, John Fitz, Michael Zachariah. These are people that have entered before that have not provided anything at the moment. So if you want to provide anything, you can always catch me now or at the end of the stream. Dakaru, I can't always make the live stream, so if I've missed a prediction stream, I'll leave mine in the comments. Dakaru, that's exactly what we ask people to do. Sometimes we have a live stream and it's difficult to get them all in. We try. Yesterday we managed to do it, but yesterday we tried to do it, and live I caught quite a few people, but Jishnu Raju forgot or didn't give me the last 2 fixtures. So I've got 6 out of 8 for him. So yeah, if people can't get them in on the show, just put them in at the end of the vid or at the end of the stream, and I'll always grab them and I'll always respond back. So whether it's predictions or whether it's any comments, I will always respond back to them. But yeah, for anyone that wants to enter, I'm going to put the first one up there. So it's Villa Forest. And just so people know, I've gone for 3-2 in this game for Villa Forest. So Villa Forest, it looks like, from what I can see, that the majority of it, has anyone gone for an away victory for Forest? No, everyone's gone for either a home victory. Sorry, we've got 2 away, 2 people, 3 people, 2 people. 2 people have gone for a away victory. The majority have gone for a home victory, but I do have 1, 2, 3, 4 draws. So we've got 4 draws, about 1 million home wins, and we've got 2 away wins.
Either go meet Charlie and do it, or just go. Yeah, and she did say no.
So Spurs GC2, good afternoon. You're here. So yeah, it was just a pop up to catch up with people's predictions and that. If you guys want to enter, it's not too late. I can take them all now, and you can enter if you would like. You've got audio artists that say morning, Jose. Good morning, mate. Yeah, look who it is. It's Mr. Shear. Good morning. Sorry, good evening, Mr. Shear. It's now 8:22 in the evening in your part of the world. afternoon, so no worries audio, and people are just saying hello to each other. But yeah, so for the time being, if people want to enter, then the first prediction I'm looking for is, what do you think on Villa versus Forest? And it's never too late to enter. Never too late to enter. But Villa Forest is the first prediction that I'm looking for. As I've said to people, I went for 3-2 to Villa. That's the score that I've gone. I've gone 3-2 Villa. And as I said, we've got a multitude of people that have gone for home wins. We've got 4 draws and 2 away wins. We've got people that entered yesterday that have entered for the first time. So for those people, good luck this week. And that is to Scott Colliver, Tricky One, Pramvat Singh, and Priviraj Shirian all took part yesterday for the first time. Spurs GCTV's taking part. Fantastic. So I'll put you in now, mate. The Spurs GCTV is going for a 1-1 draw. David, seeing that you're here, do you fancy having a go? Audio, do you fancy having a go? You two are names in here that have not played as yet. If you're interested in playing, just put a prediction in for Villa versus Forest. And in the meantime, you can ask me questions if you so wish, or I can just gabble on. I'm quite happy to gabble on as well. So it's a really slow day football-wise, as I've said already. But the good news, David, you'll be glad to know, is England are on top against Australia. Against India. So Audio Artisan is joining the fray, and he is going 2-1 Villa. So I'm going to plug audios in now. He's gone 2-0 Villa, Audio Artisan. Right, Audio Artisan. There we go. David Shears entered as well. He's entered the fray. Look at this. This is fantastic. We have lots more people entering the fray, which is good to see. And David has gone 3-1 to Villa. Dakar is saying, I started the last time round and it's worth playing. Yeah, it's a good laugh. Yeah, you know, even if you started late, it's a good laugh. It's good to see how we can get on against others. I think someone who started last week, I think it was Stateside Lillywhite. Stateside Lillywhite played for the first time last week, and he got 2 correct predictions and 3 results the right way. So he done really, really well. So the next game that I'm looking for whilst I'm here is Brighton versus Everton. And in the meantime, David, you've asked me a question. My thoughts on are you talking about Awayimni from Nottingham Forest, David? I think that's who you meant, because this says Awonyi. So I think you mean Awayimni from Nottingham Forest. If that's the case, then I like him. Whether he's top level or elite level is different, but I like him. He's in my fantasy teams. Spurs GCTV going for another 1-1 draw. Fantastic, Spurs GCTV 1-1 draw. So I now need a score from Audio and David on Brighton versus Everton, and anyone else that might be watching that hasn't taken part yet. I would welcome. You're welcome to join in, and we're looking for a prediction for Brighton versus Everton. Yes, David, he is very, very strong in the end. He's strong all round. I'm not sure about his first touch, but he will score. I believe that he will score goals. I mean, he's come back from injury and he started scoring goals already for Forest and back from his injury. And Forest have missed him. And I think with Forest playing Awayimni, Elanga, and Hudson-Odoi in their front three with Morgan Gibbs White sitting just behind them, I think to myself, they're decent. So I've got all the predictions there. So Dakara saying, David, hey David, no early game tonight, and I'm not going to sit up for a 2 a.m. start. The Spurs aren't playing. Things to do tomorrow. Dakara, brother, you take care of yourself, mate. As I said, I've got all your predictions. You're in already. Thank you for leaving them for me. Superb. Right, the next prediction I'm looking for, guys, is Palace versus Burnley. So Crystal Palace, Burnley is what I'm looking for. Crystal Palace, Burnley, and audio's gone 1-0. And Mr. Shear's gone 1-0, and Spurs GCTV's gone 2-0. And David Shear has gone for a 1 draw. Spurs GCT, slightly separate prediction. I think we will sign at least 4 in the summer, and one of them will break our transfer record. That's how much faith I have. I hope you're right, mate. I hope you're right. I think, in all honesty, if we sign 4, we've done really well. I reckon that for me, I'd like to see about 6 signed, to be honest, and see the likes of if you're not going to keep Reguilón and Rodon, although they're not taking up a squad space at the moment, they wouldn't be taking one up next season. So them 2 would definitely go. But then I'd like to see some of our others go. Maybe Højbjerg's going to go. Werner, if his loan doesn't be kept, you just lose Werner. And Dembele we need to get rid of because you don't want him back in the squad, I don't think either. So I'd like to say, obviously we need to trim our squad because we've got players out on loan that don't make the 25 at the moment. But yeah, we need to trim our squad, and I would like to see probably another 6. If we could get 6 players in, I'd be absolutely, as the Australians say, I'd be absolutely stoked. I'd be stoked if we could bring 6 players in Spurs GCTV. But yeah, I agree with you. 4 is a good number, but I'd like to see nearer 6 if possible. David Shear, you're asking me, no Eze or the youngster, Luis, yeah, he's not playing either, and neither is Guehi, I don't believe. So yeah, Palace are short and 3 players. So Lise, Eze, and Guehi, I don't believe are playing. So when I looked yesterday, because we were talking about this, so at the moment in the Premiership, at the moment, we have Crystal Palace have Cheick Doucouré out till June, Rob Holding's out till May, Elise's out till mid-April, Guehi's out till mid-March, Will Hughes is touch and go, Eze is currently out, and Jeroen Rak-Sakyi is currently out. And the Premiership are reporting that Tottenham have Fraser Forster out till April. Pedro Porro, they're saying that Pedro Porro is going to be out till the 10th of March, which means that he would miss Crystal Palace, because Crystal Palace is on the 2nd. They're saying Mala Solomon is out till the 10th of March as well. Udogie, they're saying, will be back for the 2nd of March, and Ryan Sessegnon, no return date. So that's the Premiership list. I mean, I can tell you about any team in the Premiership according to the English Premier League injury table. So if you ask me about any teams, I can tell you about them. That's where I get my info from. But if you don't ask, you don't find out, do you? So Spurs DCC agreed we need another 6 or 7 ideally, but would be surprised if we get all done in one window. I do see plenty of outgoing as well. Spurs GCTV, I mean, I can look it up, but how many players did we sign in the summer? Because that would be interesting. How many players did we bring in the summer? Because if you bring in, I think the summer before we bought 6. So the season we got Basuma, Forster, Perisic, and players like that, we actually bought 6 in the summer before. It'd be interesting to see and find out how many we bought in this summer. So we know we bought Vicario in, we bought Van der Ven in. The doggy was signed the previous year. So we've bought Van der Ven, we bought a doggy. Sorry, to start again. We've bought Vicario, Van der Ven, we've bought Madison, we've bought Solomon, we've bought Johnson. And I can't remember if we bought anyone else in, but that's already 5, mate, that we bought last summer. Bearing in mind we bought 6 the summer before, then 6 seems to be kind of a number at the moment that runs par with the last 2 transfer windows. So I don't think it's beyond the realms of possibility to say that we could be looking to get 6 in. I think the more the merrier. Yeah, Veliz, David Shear, that's it. Veliz, that gives you your 6th player just last summer alone. So, you know, at the end of the day, there's no reason why we can't bring 6 players in, to be honest, this summer. So that's what I was looking at. 6 is like a par for the last couple of windows. Don't you Parrot, sell Gibbs White in for Højbjerg? Yeah. And then you're saying against most, you see, if we are buying higher value players, I'm guessing we will sign fewer. I understand what you're saying, but Postecoglou always works within budgets, and Postecoglou is not about the price, is he? Postecoglou is about getting the right person to fit his system, is what he's about. So it remains to be seen. I mean, it's intriguing for me to see what we're actually going to do, but I would like to see a fair few if possible. Right, the next game for you lovely gentlemen who are partaking is Manchester United v Fulham. So Man U v Fulham. Sorry, I didn't say. So for Brighton, I've gone Brighton 3, Palace as Everton 0, and for Crystal Palace, I've gone Crystal Palace 3, Burnley 0. So in both them results, I've gone for 3-0 in both of them games. And now it's Manchester United Fulham. Once you've given me your predictions, I will tell you what I went for Man United Fulham. So audio's going 2-1 to Manchester United. What say you, Spurs? 1-1 draw. Mr. Shear, you like your draws? 1-2 for Spurs GCTV. And 1-1 for Mr. Shear. Right, so I can now tell you that I went for Manchester United 1, Fulham 2. And my reasoning behind that is Rasmus Højlund, who has been the constant in the last 4, 5, 6 games, who's the one that's been playing brilliantly for him and scoring the goals. He's now out for at least 3 games. And now that he's out for at least 3 games, it means that they're going to rejig the front 3. And where they started to click their front 3, losing Højlund for me is going to be a big miss for them. Fulham have started to find their scoring boots again. They've got this Rodrigo Muniz playing up front for them, and he's started banging in the goals. But also, William and Cordiva Reed have been playing really well as the supporting actors on playing the front 3, supporting. So I think Fulham on the, and they've got Pereira and Paulinho behind them. Fulham on their day can score goals, and I just think that Man United losing Højlund, and also they've now found out they're losing Shaw for the rest of the season as well. It means they've got a prominent left back because Malacia's still injured, and they sent Reguilon back to Tottenham because they thought that one of Malacia or Shaw would be back, so sent Reguilon back to Tottenham, and now they're without any recognised left back at all. And if they carry on playing Amrabat, or if Amrabat fills in at left back, I fear for them. Big time. So I've gone for Man United 1, Fulham 2. I don't know, what's he saying? David Shear says, I don't want Man U to win. And he says, oh, bugger, audio, the fix is in. The next game that I'm looking for, gentlemen, is Bournemouth versus Manchester City. Is it Bournemouth? Yes, Bournemouth versus Manchester City is the game I'm looking for. So what do you people think on Bournemouth versus Manchester City? Spurs GCTV is coming with 0-4. Who are the outs for Bournemouth Man City? I can give you that information. Audio has gone with 0-3. Right, so for Bournemouth, right, let me tell you, Bournemouth, the players that they have out, AFC Bournemouth. So Ryan Fredericks is out till June. James Hill, don't even know who he is out till the end of March. Philip Billing is suspended because he got a red card, and he's not available till the match after next week. So he's unavailable for this game and the following game. Tyler Adams is due to be assessed next week. So Tyler Adams is the guy they bought from Leeds United, a holding midfielder, number 6, who plays for the United States. I thought he's a decent player. They bought him for 20 million, but he's been injured since he got to the club. Romain Favre, he's back. And then you've got Max Aarons, their right back, who is out for the foreseeable. And then they're playing against Manchester City. So if I look for Manchester City, I can tell you who's in and out for Man City as well. Right, so for Manchester City, Josko Gvardiol is out till at least the week after next. Jack Grealish out till the week after next. And that's it. So it's just Jack Grealish and Gvardiol that Manchester City are missing. So with that news, I can tell you, with that news, David Shear, what would your score be between Bournemouth and City? It's 3-1 to City, okay? Right, I have that. Right, Ellie, I haven't got the table to share because I can't share it from what I'm using at the moment. But what I tell you, Ellie, is that you are currently in 5th place. You climbed up the table and you're currently in 5th. You have 98 points. Bobby K and Beer Talk, who are just in front of you, are both in front of you by 1 point each. So you've closed the gap. Chris Meta Football is 2 points behind you, and then after that there's a gap of 11 points. So yeah, so that's where we are really. So you haven't missed the table. I can't show it on it. I think we showed the table is on yesterday's show. Yeah, so we did show the table on yesterday's show. The next game I'm looking for is Arsenal versus Newcastle. Do people want to know the injuries or situation or not before I predict? If you do, I will let you know now. Jurriën Timber is out till April. Tomiyasu is out. Zinchenko is out. And Jesus and Partey might be back for Arsenal. With Newcastle, they got some good news this week. So Tonali's still suspended for the whole season. Callum Wilson's out till the end of the season. Joe Linton's out till the end of the season. Nick Pope's out till April. Matt Target is out for another couple of weeks at least. Fabian Schär is past fit. He's back. Willock is back. So I think Alexander Isak and Joseph Willock will be back for this week. So that's your injury news on them two. And with that being said, I have some predictions from these gentlemen. I have Spurs GCTV who's come in with a 2-0 to Arsenal. I have Audio as coming with a 1-1. And Mr. Shear's not giving me a result yet. And Mr. Shear's going 3-2 to Newcastle. I won't say the rest. So, I've gone in this game, I've predicted Arsenal 1, Newcastle 2. And my reason behind this is that they've got Isak back, I believe. Anthony Gordon's been playing already, and they also have Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes is one of the quickest players in the Premiership, and so they have got speed aplenty up the top three to give Arsenal problems. In midfield, they'll have Guimaraes playing, Miley playing, and it'll probably be someone like Longstaff. And as for the defence, Newcastle's defence have been pretty much the same. It's been pretty much Shaw, Botman, Trippier, and whoever they play at left back. And Newcastle on their day can give anyone a game. But they just have to turn up. But I just think their front three have got frightening pace. And I think even though Arsenal at home, if you can keep the library quiet for the first 20 minutes, then the library won't say boo to anyone, and then Newcastle will get on top. So yeah, so I'm taking Newcastle to win 2-1 at the library. The next game I've got for you guys is Wolves versus Sheffield United. So I've got down here, I've got big up Daniel. Hello mate, how are you? I just doing a pop-up show for those people because we've got quite a few people that have missed out on the predictions this week. And I thought to myself, because we don't kick off till 3, I'll quickly jump on and try and get some predictions from people that haven't had a chance, or some new people that want to play. And we've got some new people that want to play. So straight away, people have come in not wanting to know any of the injuries, and they've come in with their predictions. So on this one, people are pretty confident without knowing who's injured, which is good to see. Audio has come 2-1. And Mr. Shear has gone 2-0. Just for completeness, I have predicted 4-0 to Wolves. And just for completeness, I will let you know that Sheffield United's injuries at the moment, they have Max Lowe out till next season. They have Reece Norrington Davis out till next season. Chris Basham is out till next season. John Egan is back on the 19th of May, which basically is next season. Mason Holgate is suspended and not available for his red card in the last game, which was an awful tackle. So he misses 3 games. Ben Brereton Diaz is having a late fitness test. He's 50-50. Cameron Archer is on a late fitness test. There's another one who's 50-50. George Baldock, late fitness test, but he's only 25% chance of making it. And Daniel Jebison has been out since. Daniel Jebison has been out since the start of the season, and he's not doing anything at the moment. So no one quite knows what's wrong with him, but he's not currently looking to be playing for Sheffield United, and hasn't been since last season. Wolverhampton Wanderers. So Mateus Cunha has got a thigh injury, and Mateus Cunha is not expected to be back until the end of March. So you might as well say the beginning of April. He is the only player that's injured on the Premiership list for Wolves at the moment. And my last one to look at for this weekend is West Ham versus Brentford. West Ham, Brentford. So for West Ham, the injuries are Calvin Phillips is unavailable because he's got 2 yellows, and which meant a red, so he's out for 1 game. So he's got a suspension at the moment. And you've got someone by the name of Lucas Tolentino Coelho de Lima who is out. And I've got a feeling I know that's not Paquetá, is it? No, it's not Paquetá. I don't know who it is. But whoever that is, Lucas. Lucas is back in training, very close to return, so that will give us a boost. He's in contention for Monday. We will see where he is. So he must have been one of the new players that they bought that hasn't played yet. So that's West Ham. And Brentford. Brentford currently have Rico Henry out till next season. Aaron Hickey is out to next season. Ethan Pinnock is out to the end of March, beginning of April. Kevin Sade, end of March, beginning of April. Brian Mbeumo, end of March, beginning of April. Joshua Da Silva is out with an knee injury, with no return date at the moment. So Brentford are carrying a fair few injuries. But with that being said, with that being said, Spurs GCTV has gone for 1-1. So with everything I've said, Spurs GCTV, you're still saying 1-1, or do you want to change your prediction? David Shear is going for 2-1 to West Ham. And Audio's going for 2 draw. Right, just for completeness, just to make sure that everyone's aware, I have predicted West Ham 3, Brentford 1 is what I've gone for. Daniel, cool, mate. I noticed you was live, so thought I would listen in on my headphones while picking at work. Hate working Saturdays. Yeah, I haven't worked. Well, rostered wise, I've not worked a Saturday in a long time, many years, in fact. But because I manage teams, I tend to log in all throughout the weekend because my teams work 7 days a week. So I tend to be logged in. May not be full throttle, but I log in just to make sure my staff are okay. So yeah, Saturdays are Saturdays. You know, as long as you get a couple of days off a week, Daniel. Yeah, I think that I was precious about weekends when I wasn't precious about weekends when I was younger. I didn't care about working weekends, but as I've got older, I'd like to have the weekends since I've had family. But my kids are now grown up now, or my youngest is 17, my twin girls are 17, and they don't want to spend time with their old man anymore. So for me, yeah, you know, Saturdays and Sundays, I could possibly end up working because, yeah, my wife would have the remote control for herself on the weekend like that. Right, Ellie says, I love Isak too, David. Even was discussing buying him as I scouted him a long time ago, watching him so many times in matches with his previous clubs, Borussia Dortmund, and loaned to William Tway and to Real Sociedad. And she says, I was talking with Jack Kinnicky of the Irish Hotspur ages ago about Isak, as I followed him when he played for Sweden with Kulu. David saying, thank you, Ellie, for the heads up. Hope things are improving, Quebec. West Ham, keep or bench the entire club. Yeah. Right, so I've got predictions. Unless anyone else joins in, I've got the predictions from 3 new players today, which I'm quite happy that I've captured 3 new players to enter. It now means that our lofty table will go down to 63 places because we've got 63 that would have entered the competition along the season. So that's quite good. It's never too late for some of the others that have predicted before to come in and predict again. So what's happening on the football front? I mean, have any of you heard any stories or anything? Because I must be honest, when I know that England aren't sorry, David, I've got England-India on my mind because it's such a good day of cricket for England today. And I'm going to watch the highlights because I had to go out shopping with my wife and I had to go and put petrol in the car. I had to go and do the tyres for her because I don't drive, so I have to go. I'm forced to go as a passenger and go and do all these things for my wife. And I took her for breakfast this morning. So therefore, I haven't been around much, but I know what the scores are and that. But yeah, it'd be good. It's superb. you'll come 64th. You won't. I reckon you'll finish a lot higher than that. You might even finish high. Well, you might have even surpassed that come the end of the fixtures this weekend. Bearing in mind there are only 8 fixtures that we're predicting, and we're not predicting our usual 10. So Ellie's saying, yes, Ange needs time as it's such a big op, but I'm taking good care of her, giving her good wholesome nutritious food and plenty of herbal teas with water and lime now. Jives well to hit 3 double tons. He's only got 2. Didn't hit one this time round, did he? Didn't hit one this time round. All the artisan. Dane Scarlett's playing for the under 21. Kick off in 10 minutes versus Fleetwood. Audio, is that a cup game against Fleetwood? Because I thought I'd heard, I thought David the Irish Hotspur, Dave Harris last night, I thought he said that the under 21s and the under 18s were both playing today. And I think, I might be wrong here, I think he might have said they were cup games. I think. But I suppose, Audio, you probably get to watch these on Spurs Play. I would have thought the under 18s and the under 21s would be captured on Spurs Play. What we got? What's going on around the world of football? So at the moment in the Championship, Hull City are drawing 0-0 with West Bromwich Albion after 19 minutes. Cambridge are half-time with Peterborough 0-0. Eastleigh and Bromley in the National League are 0-0. Have I got anyone else's results here at the moment? Pontypridd United 2, Colwyn Bay 0 in the Cymru Premier, which is the Welsh Premier. We've got the Australian A-League, Sydney FC 1, Melbourne 1, Adelaide 1, Western Sydney Wanderers 2, and Perth Glory 0, Wellington Phoenix 0. And thereafter, we also have in the Turkish Super League, there's a result, Kayaspor 3, Anakargucu 2. That brings you up to date with world football, not just the English football, it's the world football. Daniel's saying, I'm doing what Ange's doing now this season. I'm doing what Ange's doing now, his season. This is a building season on the Predictions League. And then next season, I destroy the competition. Yes, mate. Love it. Because there's a lot of people saying the same thing, which is good. I say we send Arsenal West Ham to the black hole, Jose. All they're saying, yeah, Premier League round of 16. I'm going to answer this one in a second for you, David. I'm going to star it because you've got me going. I ain't got Spurs players. I ain't got Spurs play. I've got a few special apps though. Wink, wink. Yeah. Superb. Ellie saying, cheers, David. You're a cobber with a great clobber, as you're always in style. You fashionista, you. So before I can answer it, Scott's coming. Good morning, Scott, mate. How are you, sir? I saw that you became a member on the on Jacob's show last night because I was part of the panel. So yeah, well done yourself. I hope you enjoyed the show, mate. David Shear saying, is Stokes a good batsman with an average of 35.9? So when Stokes first came into the England team, nobody knew whether he was a batsman or a bowler because he did a bit of both, like the all-rounder tag says. The way that England played cricket before, which was the good old traditional attritional cricket, Stokes wasn't the kind of person that he was sent in number 7, and wasn't the kind of person to build an innings round continuously with the lower end, right? However, so therefore his average would have been worse than what it is now. Since he became captain and joined arms with Brendan McCullum to bring in Bazball, he ended up playing his own game, where he looks absolutely immense when he gets on it. It's immense, and he can control loads of games now. So, I mean, I don't know how many. Stokes is 32 now. It's just how many years Stokes has got left, but I can only see in a weird way that his average can only get better. Although we play Bazball, I can only see that his average gets better. I mean, I've seen Stokes stand there many an occasion and fend off 50 balls for 4 runs and silly numbers like that. And then after 50 balls, he presses the button and then he just starts smashing the ball and walking down the track and that all over the shop, and ends up with really, really good scores. The other thing is as a bowler, he puts his heart and soul in it. He bends his back when he's bowling and that, and you know, we've missed him, not bowling. I think we've missed him. However, he hasn't had to bowl so far in this test, but the belief is that he does. If he was needed, he would put a few overs in. I can see him, you know, if England are going the right way with this result, which I believe they are, then I could see him probably pitching him with at least an over between the first or the second innings. If India gets second innings, I can see him bowling just at least 1 over just to get that kind of monkey off his back type thing. So his average isn't that bad. If you look at the grand scheme of things, and most of his time he's batted down at 7, and had to usher the towel. And as I said, I think his average has actually got better since they went to Bazball. I think his average has got better. So that hopefully answers that. What we got? So Scott says Stokes is an excellent all-rounder, but he's not a specialist batsman. And then you've got yourself saying, Loti Choa, stay humble. Saying, afternoon, all gutted, we are not playing this week. Yep, we certainly are. Stay humble. Hopefully you got my message, mate. I did receive your predictions, and I did respond back to you to say that I had. So yeah, you're all in for this week. Stay humble. Stokes is world class. He won matches on his own in finals and the Ashes. Stokes is a good player. He is a good player. I was quite surprised. Seeing that I've been asked the cricket question, I was quite surprised because before the test started, I turned around. I think I might have said it to you, David. I've definitely said it to Ash as well. That I think that England should play Dan Lawrence as a in the batsman position instead of Bairstow. Bairstow hit a runner ball 38. I think it was 38. He got a runner ball in the first innings, and he got one that kept so low. Wasn't as low as the one Stokes got, but he kept one that went so low that gave him LB. But he was looking in good touch, so it's taken him 4 tests to get into good touch, but still, I would think about Dan Lawrence. Right, so I've got Daniel Lee saying, I'll be real, mate, I'm zoned out when you started talking about cricket. Well, if you ask me questions, I will I'll talk about football because there's not much to discuss unless you want to talk about other teams. Tottenham-wise, there isn't much to discuss. Mark Cousins, sir, good afternoon to you, pal. Yes, I've definitely received yours because you sent them to me in the group. So I've definitely received yours. You are in, my friend. You are in. So what I've done in yesterday's prediction show and today where I've snagged 3 other people to enter, I've actually given out my predictions as well. So, but I gave them out yesterday, but I've given them out today again to let people know what I've gone for. I mean, what does it say on the world of Twit? On the world of Twit, does it say anything about the football or the foosball? Oh, Mr. Daigle's at it again, isn't he, on Twit? He's put up a clock to remind everyone that Tottenham have not won a trophy for 15 years, 360 days, 11 hours, 30 minutes and 7 seconds. Thank you, Brian. are loving it, so they're going a bit mad. I'm just trying to see if there's any football here. Has anyone heard any stories? Because I haven't. I mean, I've got the newspaper and I haven't even bothered looking at it yet. Because when you follow a team, you tend to look at your own stories and what's going on at your own club. You don't tend to look elsewhere, and I haven't really looked elsewhere. The only thing that I know about this weekend that's kind of opened my eyes was the fact that Rasmus Højlund is out for Man United, and only because I've got him in one of the competitions that I play in, and he had started firing on all cylinders for me, and now I'm going to lose him. So that's the only thing that's really raised up for me. Apart from that, Tottenham-wise, we've not heard anything. We're just hoping that, I mean, they're releasing videos on YouTube. If you follow Tottenham, they are releasing videos on YouTube where you can see the team and the squad training, and you can actually see who's at training and stuff like that. But then apart from that, there isn't much there. They haven't done much at all. Yeah, there's not much at all for Tottenham out there. I mean, I've been looking around, and there is nobody currently live at the moment on Tottenham channels, which, you know, it goes to tell you when Tottenham aren't playing, people just aren't interested, and it's whether. Oh no, not again. It's not whether it's whether there's other news. There is some news here. I'm just looking. West Ham on their channel, on their Hammers chat, say the FA are to charge Paquetá and Brazilian to sue the FA over a betting investigation. So it looks like, I don't know, it looks like Paquetá is going to be sued by the FA, or is being charged by the FA, and it's possibly to do with betting and an FA betting investigation. It's kind of weird. Aaron. I'm going to start your question, Scott. Right, it's kind of weird because most of football, or a lot of the football teams, are all sponsored by, or there is money in advertisements of that for these betting companies. And clearly there is a problem with gambling within the football fraternity. I will say you don't get to hear much about it. It's only some high profiles like your Ivan Toney's, Sandro Tonali at Newcastle. These kind of players that will come up and would be charged. But trust me, when I played football, and that's years and years and years ago when I was playing, if you played on a Saturday afternoon, people would be going down the betting shop in the morning to put their bets on before the football started. And there are some people that I remember when evening racing first started, evening horse racing. After the games, people would get in, have a shower, wouldn't even come to the bar for a drink afterwards. They'd shoot off straight away and say that they go somewhere. And then where they were going is they were going to the betting shop to put some bets on for the evening horse racing. When evening horse racing first started, a lot of players used to go to the dogs because there was dog tracks absolutely everywhere. So a lot of players used to go to the dogs as well. Either go into the betting shop and bet on the dogs, or they used to go to the dog tracks themselves and go and gamble. So gamble has been rife in football for as long as I've been playing it. So I'm going to say for a minimum of 40 years, if not longer. So gambling has been a problem, and now these are the companies with all the money that providing sponsorships to clubs and stuff like that. And yet gambling is an illness. And we've got some people that are ill in the game, and they're being caught out for these things, and they're being punished for them. Is punishment right? I'm not sure, because it's an addiction. I'm not sure whether, is it all about punishment, or is it about trying to help these people get out of these addictions? So, yeah, it's an interesting one. But yeah, I was looking for other news, and it says that about Paquetá there as well. Is there anything else I can see from any of the other channels? Not really. I can't see much at all. But what I do have is the lovely people within the chat have asked some questions. So I've starred them and I'll go through one by one. So Scott Oliver says, how many central midfielders will we need in the squad next year? That's a good question, because you've got to balance that with how many. So what if you want a balanced team? I suppose you'd have to answer your question of how many goalkeepers do you need in your squad. So if you say you needed, let's say you needed 3 out of your 25 goalkeepers, you took 3 places up. I'm not including under 21s at the moment, so that leaves you 22 spots. I'd like to say you want to have at least 8 defenders, don't you? You would like to have 2 rights, 2 lefts, and 4 centre backs. So that's 8. That's 11 of your squad. So it leaves you with 14. Would 7 and 7 be decent? 7 midfielders and 7 forwards. So you've got 7 fighting for 3 places across the middle and 7 fighting for 3 places across the top, across the front. That would be 7 and 7 is 14. 8 defenders is 22. 3 goalkeepers 25. That's not including your unders, who wouldn't count as part of the squad. So if Divine's in the squad next season and Alfie and Ashley Phillips, even Dorrington and that, if they were all part of the squad next season, they wouldn't count in the 25. I think Veliz might count. I think Veliz is 20 at the moment. I'm not sure whether he count for next season, whether he turns 21 quickly enough to not count or count for next season, whatever the case may be. So I'd say for midfielders, Scott, I'd probably say 7 would probably be a decent amount to have. And it's pretty much what we have at the moment. We have 7 at the moment, don't we? So you've got Madders, Saar, Biss, Benton, Core, Lo Celso, Skip, Højbjerg. 7 already we've got. And I think 7 is a decent number because it gives you the coverage that you need across that midfield. But what I would like to see, Scott, is some of the ones that we've got there at the moment. I'd say 3 of the ones that we've got at the moment, possibly upgrade them if we could. And upgrade them for people that are going to be first team players. Sorry, in saying that, Lucas Bergvall is coming and he'll be in the first team squad next season. And he's a youngster, the young Swede we bought. But because he's under 21, he don't count as a squad number. So there's already a midfielder there, but we won't count him as a squad number. I would like to see us bring in players, regardless whether it's in defence, midfield, attack, even goalkeeper, whatever position that we have and that we're going for players for. I would like to see players that challenge straight away for the first team. I don't want bench warmers. I don't want squad players. Yeah, it'll be good rotational. No, I don't want that. I want players to come in. They're going to challenge for the first team. Challenge the players that we currently have that are playing in the first team. So therefore, we get what your Man City's, possibly your Liverpool's, and what these type of teams have got, where they've got 2 players for every position. If you've got 2 players for every position, you've already got 22 players, haven't you? And the way we play, that would mean you've got 8 defenders. If it was to do that, 2 players for every position, that gives you 8 defenders, 6 midfielders, 6 attackers, 2 goalkeepers. So then you could frame 1 more goalkeeper, you could frame 1 more attacker and 1 more midfielder. That makes it 25. But bearing in mind, you've got the players of the likes of Bergvall, Donnelly, Dorrington, Phillips, these type of players, they're all under 21, so they would not count towards the squad quota. Hopefully I've answered that for you, because my belief is that Postecoglou wants to play 8s, and I've said this and I'll maintain this. Postecoglou doesn't believe in your 6s, and he won't even tell you that Maddison's a 10. He's going to tell you that Maddison's an 8. So his midfielders are 3 8s that he plays with, but the 3 8s cover triangles, if you like, and the triangle starts with a pivot and it goes out wider, so it looks like a 6 and 2 8s. or you can look like a 6, 8, and a 10, but they're not. Postecoglou will tell you straight that these midfielders are definitely 8s. So being 8s as central midfielders, which is the question that you're asking me. Next question, and then I'll go to the chat. It says David Shear says thoughts on us going to South Korea for pre-season. Right, I understand fully why teams go long haul. So they go long haul to Asia, long haul to North America, because we played in it one season. They do the Premier League Cup competition out in America, where you get about 6 to 8 Premiership teams all competing against each other. Last year it was Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, Villa, Brentford, and teams like that, Fulham and whoever it was that went out there. And I understand why people do it, because there's a lot of revenues to be made in these markets. But is it good for the players to be doing all this jet setting around? I'm not too sure. And our pre-season, as long as we haven't picked times to go to these places whereby we're going to be weather adverse. So like when we went to play last season and we ended up going to Singapore or Hong Kong or wherever it was, and it was during their monsoon season, you know, that was stupid planning for me. And I just hope that the planning is that much better, that we're not going to hit adverse weather conditions, in these countries. But I understand why they're doing it. But, you know, at the end of the day, as long as we also, because I don't know what the pre-season looks like. So I think as long as you've got a backup, excuse me, people, as long as you've got a backup where you've got other games that you can play. So when you come back into the country, you've got other games set up, another friendly set up here that you can play. Because our pre-season was shocking last season. We were the most undercooked team in the Premiership, and I wouldn't want that to happen to us again. I'm going to go. I've got 2 more starred at the moment. I'm going to go to chat. So you've got Ellie is saying we are trophyless for 15 years, going on 16 years. That accurate enough, Mr. Daigle? Suppose GC3's got to go. See you later, mate. Take care. I'm going to come back to your 2 questions. He says, kids here in Australia know and quote odds, etc. on Aussie rules. It's so rife throughout here as well. Stay Humble says 2 if Højbjerg goes. I think he's talking about how many to bring in. Ellie's saying it would be so fabulous to go to South Korea again, just to see the wide smile on Sonny's face. Again, David, and what an adulation that brings, having Sonny as an ambassador. Wow. Mr. M, afternoon, Mr. M. How are you, sir? Not sure whether you're interested, Mr. M, but we're doing the predictions catch up. So if people want to enter the predictions, if you wish to enter the predictions, Mr. M, just say yes to me. And if you say yes, I will put each game up and I will enter you with your predictions. In other news, Elias Chair, who plays in midfield for my husband's team QPR, has a suspended sentence after allegedly hitting someone over the head with a rock. Right. So Ellie, I heard this on the radio yesterday. I was under the impression that he'd been given a year imprisonment and a year suspended, is what I was under the impression of. And what I'd also been told is Elias Chair is French. He's one of the better players at QPR. And he got into an altercation in France in the summer or something like that, or the year before in the summer, with a truck driver. And there was him, his brother, and somebody else or whatever. There's 3 of them. And they must have been a big truck driver, because they got into an altercation and they all laid into him. But Elias Chair hit him with a rock. And he's obviously got charged for it. I don't know what he got charged for. It obviously couldn't have been something like attempted murder and stuff like that, because he would have got time for that, a long time. So whatever it is in France, he did get sentenced. I thought it was a year. He got a year and a year suspended, but I might be wrong, and I'm not sure. Stuart Collins, yes, you've answered it well. 7 makes sense. Stay Humble saying because Son is a cash cow, for leaving Korea. Ellie's saying that her beloved might be moving on in the summer. Daniel says, after that shit show of pre-season tour last season, I would rather stay in Europe than go that far out. But do you know what? Some of me actually very much agrees with Daniel. It's what I was saying earlier, but I can understand why the teams, especially in the Premiership, why teams go so far for their pre-season. In saying that, some of the bigger teams in the Championship get the opportunity to do that as well, and they take it as well. That's because that's where the money is. The amount of money you get from companies wishing you to come out, and you know, they end up putting a lot into the pot for teams to go there. So I can understand why people do it. He's saying Son is a cash cow in England too. The South Korean fans are amazing and they spend heaps of money on match days alone. And then you've got Sonny's got 12 goals and 6 assists. Stay Humble says, luckily he didn't get attempted murder charge. Yeah. And look who we've got. He's here. He's here. Good afternoon, Adrian. How are you, sir? I wasn't sure whether you'd be watching the under 21s or the under 18s in their matches at the moment. Stuart Scott says pre-season cannot have been too bad considering how we started. Yeah, results wise, but we were well undercooked, Scott. If you look at our pre-season compared to everyone else's, we were well undercooked. We played the less minutes. We played some. I mean, this pre-season, you would have got more out of being on a training pitch than playing against the Lions Sailor City team. So we had one game suspended, cancelled completely, and then we played the Lions Sailor City team or whatever, and that we could have got more out of a practice match behind closed doors than what we actually did. So there we go. So Mr. M has realised, right, I'm off to watch the under 21s. He forgot. Mr. M, enjoy the game, mate, and thank you for coming on today, mate. Enjoy yourself. Ellie is saying, I get the tourists. Sorry, Daniel, you get the tourists for overseas fans to see them play, but I'm against any tour that can potentially mess up your pre-season. I'm not going to disagree. I can't, but I do. Like I said, I'm not disagreeing with you, Danny. In no ways am I disagreeing, but I just understand why they do it. Ellie's saying, yes, but Ilias Chair, he's playing today, my hubby tells me. And he was born in Belgique, not Belgium, Belgique, and plays for Le Maroc, not Morocco. Let's get this straight. It's Belgique and Maroc. That's how they pronounce it in their countries. Not how us English people pronounce it. You've got Adrian saying, I've always believed the squad should be back from tour in time to spend a month of pre-season, not 2 weeks like last season. Again, I'm not disagreeing at all, Adrian. I'm not going to disagree. I think that we should always have a pre-season here as well and should come back in time for it. And last season we were, through the timing and for absolutely everything, we were so undercooked. It's beyond. Barbaric, good afternoon, Barbaric. How are you, mate? Hello, young sir. Saturday afternoon with Jose on my screen. What a time to be alive. Yes, man. What a time to be alive. Barbaric, are you interested in doing these predictions with us? Because we've currently done the predictions. I've managed to tag another 3 people today. So if you would like to enter predictions this week, I can give you the games and you can tell us what your predictions would be for these games. You're more than welcome to enter. Like I said, I have come on to do a last call show to try and potentially get some people that have missed out, that have already pre-entered. But I managed to snag three new players today. So if you would like to play, just let me know and I will get you in, sir. For definite, I will get you in. Right, I've started 2 other questions, which I'm going to go to. So we did win a prestigious trophy. So Mr. Brian is wrong. And Mark, the sheriff, says Tiger Cup champions. No one else will sing that. Right. Yeah. Next star question I have is, who was it that spent millions years ago gambling? Are you talking player-wise, Mark? Merson. Merson was one of the first ones to be caught for gambling, but he was caught for multi-addiction as well. He was caught for drugs, alcohol, gambling. He was caught for multi stuff. And to be fair, when you've got 3 addictions, not just the one, you've got 3. They're pretty hard. It's going to be a lot harder to come out of. And I think I'm not going to say because I don't know him that well. I think he pretty much has calmed it and quelled them down, but he does fall off the wagon from time to time. So he might go back to drink from time to time. I reckon he may, I'm not too sure, but he may have fallen into the gambling, and I'm not sure about the drugs, but I know that he's cleaned himself up considerably, but I know that he has fallen off the wagon as well because he's admitted himself. And you can see when someone's pissed or drunk, or someone's under the influence of narcotics. You can see it from a mile away. As for his gambling, that can be hidden, but I think he's lost his marriage over it, lost his house over it, and now he's remarried again. He's got a new family, new children, new place, a new abode to live. And I'm sure with your previous, his new partner would probably be on top of whatever is going on with him at the moment. But yeah, I wish everyone with addictions all the best, and I wish that everyone could get treated, because it must be a lonely place, and all you do is you spiral, and some people end up taking their own lives because they can't see a way out of it. So I really do hope people with addictions all the best, and anyone with mental health, just seek help straight away. Don't dwell, don't ponder, just go and seek it straight away. The sooner you get help, the sooner you can address the conditions that you have. So yeah, always seek help in the first instance straight away. If you're ever in doubt and you think you've got anything like that, just seek help. Answer these points and then I'll go back to the chat. I'll go back to the chat again. Thank you, kind sir. As long as it doesn't disrupt you too much. No, it doesn't. So, Barbaric Disdain, for you, the first game you need to predict is Villa Forest. Predict for me Villa Forest. Anyone who hasn't entered that wants to enter along with Barbaric now, you're more than welcome to do so. Just put your name in. There we go. So, Barbaric. I have Barbaric in there. So Barbaric has gone for. He has gone for 2-0 to Villa. Okay, Barbaric. I've gone for. So you got the 2-0. I went for 3-2 to Villa. Next game, Barbaric, and anyone else that may want to enter that hasn't already, is Brighton versus Everton. Nate Pye's here. Hello, Nate. How are you, sir? Hold on a second. I'll put you in, Nate Pye. Nate Pye. And he's going for 3-0 to Aston Villa. Nice meeting you last night, Nate. Seagulls 2-1. And Barbaric has gone 1-1. Right, the next game that I'm looking for, gentlemen, is Palace versus Burnley. Crystal Palace, Burnley is what I'm looking for next. Barbaric is going 0-0. And Nate is going 1-0. Right, the next game I have for you gentlemen is Manchester United versus Fulham. So Man United versus Fulham. So Man United, who are without their goal scorer now for the next 3 matches, take on Fulham. 1-2. So Barbaric has gone 1-2, and Nate's gone 2-1. Sorry, I didn't give you my other scores, gentlemen. So for the scores that you've done so far, I have selected Villa to beat Forest 3-2. I selected Brighton to beat Everton 3-0. I've selected Crystal Palace to beat Burnley 3-0. And I have gone Manchester United 1, Fulham 2. Stay humble. You've already done your predictions. I've already got yours locked in, mate, so you can't be doing them again. I'm sure I've looked Stay Humble in. Yeah, I've got Stay Humbles already. Oh, you're just putting them in there just so everyone can see. Okay, fair enough. The next game that we have is Bournemouth versus Manchester City. Bournemouth versus Manchester City. Zero 4 for Barbaric. And 2-4 to Nate. I think for completeness, I went for 0-4 as well. I've gone for 0-4. Next game for you gentlemen is Arsenal versus Newcastle. Two 1 to Arsenal for Barbaric. Spurs under 21s in the last 16 of the Cup are 1-0 up against Fleetwood through a Dane Scarlett goal in the 26th minute, according to Adrian Stroker, who's watching it. For completeness, I have gone for the score of Arsenal 1, Newcastle 2, and my reasoning behind it is that Newcastle have Willock, Isak and Harvey Barnes all back, so therefore for me that improves Newcastle no end. So I expect Newcastle to line up with Harvey Barnes, Isak, Gordon up front. I expect their midfield to be Guimaraes, Miley the youngster, and Willock in midfield, and their back four is always going to be the same back four that they pick. The only player they're really missing is Pope, other than Tonali being out for gambling prediction, and also Joe Linton's out for the rest of the season. But apart from that, I think Newcastle are near enough at full strength. Newcastle can give anyone a game, and my terminology says that if you can go to the library and keep them quiet for 20 minutes, then the library will remain quiet for the rest of the game, and then I think Newcastle can get on top. But Barbaric, when you do the predictions, you've got to do your own homework. I've done my own homework, so I'm letting you guys know why I've put my result in. So do your own homework and we'll be all right. My next one is Wolves versus Sheffield United. David, Nate is in the chat. He's saying good day to you. Do you remember Nate from yesterday, David? You were both on the same show together. You're both on the same show. There we go. He's got him there. He's saying g'day, Nate Cobalol. So he's got him now. Stay Humble says Arsenal will smash Newcastle. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Adrian has just updated us that Spurs under 21s are now 2-0 up against Fleetwood. Will Lancashire has got the second goal. So I've got 2-0 to Nate Pye for Wolves, and I've got 3-1 from Barbaric. Okay. House Tata, he's saying. Yeah, look at that. Barbaric, don't you dare spring these team changes on me after I predicted disgusting behaviour. And you've got David Shear and Nate having their chat there. Right, and the last game for the weekend, gentlemen, is West Ham versus Brentford. West Ham, Brentford. And I think you two gentlemen might have just come in with it. Let me just check now. So Nate is going 2-2. Nate is going 2-2. Jose's got a weekend wash on. Is the machine making that? It's not me, it's my wife who's put the machine on, not me. Yeah, so that is Barbaric and Nate. You're both in, man. You're both in for predictions this week. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for partaking. If there's anybody else, which I think everybody else that's in the chat at the moment has already taken part. David Clark has popped in all the way from Leicester to tell us that Spurs are turning up after 32 minutes. So yeah, we've already got so David, yeah, we've already got Adrian who's watching it, and he's been updating us already with the score. So we were aware that it was 2-0. Jet aeroplane in the back. Is it that much? But thank you for the invite, Jose. It's very much appreciated. Now, Barbaric, everybody, we do the show on a Friday, and what I will say to you, gentlemen, is if you happen to miss the show on a Friday or when predictions start, I normally put a message on the community page so you guys can see it. But if you miss the show for the predictions, you can always leave them in the comments section after a stream has finished, and then I will pick them up there and I will respond to people and let people know straight away that that I've received them and I've locked them all in for the week, so nobody ever misses out on the predictions. So yeah, so Tottenham being 2-0 up is the youngsters is really good. It's really good, and just looking to see if anything else is happening in the world of football at the moment. That's one long passing of wind. I've got is that Tay-Tay's jet in the background, and I've also got that's another foul Trident test gone wrong. I missed a show, and Jose kindly filled it in for me after leaving my results in the comments. That's what I say. If you do miss the show, gentlemen, I will always put the comments. I will always put the results in for you if you leave them at the end of the show. As an old tart, this new YouTube UI that they spring on me is very confusing at the moment. Fair enough. You say that this Barbaric, but you managed just fine, mate. You managed just fine. Looking at anything, so in the Championship, it's now half time. It's Hull City 1, West Bromwich Albion 1. League 1, it's Cambridge 0, Peterborough 1, which is 75 minutes into the game. You have Eastleigh 0, Bromley 0, after 45 minutes in the National League, and then it's in the Pinatar Cup, whatever that may be. It must, I don't know what it is, but whatever that is, it's Philippines 0, Scotland 1 after 28 minutes. Pontypridd United are 2-0 up against Colwyn Bay in the Welsh Premier after 53 minutes. I've already given the Aussie results from the Australian A-League from yesterday or from today, and the only other game is in the Turkish Super League after 34 minutes. Gaziantep nil. Istanbul Başakşehir nil. So that brings you up to date with them. Right, let me see, because Mark's asked me a question here. Right, so I'm going to have to go back this way and this way, but you can't see what I'm doing. But, right, so Mark's saying, how is the Predictions League going? Am I getting sacked in the morning? Right, so Mark, right, you didn't start early, you started quite late, right? So we now have 65 people competing, right? I'm just going to put these two, Barbaric and Nate. So we now have 65 people competing, and out of them 65, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 of them are predicting for the first time this week. So basically, out of, not including the 9 because they wouldn't have scored a point yet. So basically, from 56, there's 56 in the league, Mark. You started late. Where do you think you are in the league? Is what I'm going to ask you. And you tell me where you think you are, and then I will tell you where you are. So there's 56 players playing now, and you've only been playing for about 4 weeks or so, I think, Mark. You've done about 4 or 5 weeks worth of predictions or something, not much more than that. Where do you think you are out of 56 people? And then I will tell you where you are. I've got Chris Meta Football here, look. So Mark Cousins probably before the morning. So Audio Artisan is telling us that Spurs are now 3-0 up after 37 minutes. Scarlett and Lancashire with 2. Smith has just shown up and said the same thing. So we have a fair few, 3 or 4 people here that are watching the game and telling us and keeping us updated. Thank you very much. Stay humble. So I'm going to come back to you to stay humble. Last week you entered for the, was it your first time last week, Stay Humble? Right. So stay humble. You scored 3 points last week. So you had 3 correct teams winning, but not the correct result. So you scored 3 points last week, which took you to 54th out of 56, right? Mark Cousins, I've highlighted you in green as one of the movers in the table. And Mark, you are currently 24th. So you've only been playing a few weeks and you're already in the 24th place, Mark. And you are one of the people that I've got in green. The people that I highlight in green are the people that Spurs are now 4-0 up against Fleetwood. Don't know who the scorer is, but Donnelly's got 2 assists. Adrian is now advising that Spurs are now 4-0 up against Fleetwood. Don't know who scored the 4th goal yet. For ease of reference, the players that I've got highlighted are Beer Talk. Beer Talk is highlighted because he's gone into 3rd place. Ellie has climbed and she's highlighted. She's gone into 5th place and she's highlighted. Smithy has been highlighted. He's gone into 11th. These are people that made moves. Julie Sievers highlighted has gone into 15th. Chan went into 20th. Leo at Mile High went to 22nd. Mark to 24th. Ronnie and Alex Hilton, both 34th and 35th highlighted. Stateside Lily Whites, who played for the first time last week, is already 39th. He scored 2 correct scores, 2 correct predictions, and three results in his first week. So he's already 39th. Sanchez Bethnal Green, 43rd. And then I've got Dekaru, Vishal Punya, and Jishnu Raju, 46th, 47th, and 48th, all in their first week. So there were 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There was 14 people that went up positions in the league last week. So yeah, it's interesting, but it's good that people are keen and people want to get the results in, and people will give us their results all for different reasons. So, right, question from Audio Artisan for me. It says, what are Spanish press or fans saying about Veliz, or is it too early for him? One appearance so far, I think. My dogs are going absolutely mad again. Right. So for me, Veliz, I think it's too early because he's only came on. He's only had 5 minutes. He came on in the 85th minute. So it'd be too early. However, I was quite surprised. I mean, I'm not going to turn around and say I follow Sevilla much, but I was quite surprised with the fact that Sevilla had gone for him because they've got that El Nezri playing for them up front, who I think is an absolute beast in the air and holds up the ball well for me in that. And but he's probably the only striker that they've got, and I was just surprised at that. And I thought, so how's Veliz going to get minutes in front of him? But the manager at Sevilla has quoted saying that he likes Veliz, likes what he sees, likes what he can offer. Hence why he went for him and wanted to take him there on loan. But we need to see a fair few more minutes from Veliz before I think we can start forming an opinion of how his loan's going, and maybe for the Spanish press to start writing a bit more about him. Chris is in the chat. Chris may know, or he may have heard something different to what I've just said. But Stay Humble says on this, we've not seen enough of Veliz, but I would love to see him back next year. And Daniel Lee is reminding everybody this season is a building season on the Prediction League. Next season, you're all in trouble, is what he's telling us. Barbaric has asked a question, and I think Chris has part answered it. So Barbaric says, sorry if you've answered this already. What's your thoughts on Tottenham's Cooper Miners links? And Chris has said, because I know Chris has spoken about Cooper Miners for ages. So I'm going back to the summer when I first met Chris. He was talking about Cooper Miners then. Hey there, what are these Cooper Miners rumours? I've been calling for this signing for months. Yeah, exactly. I remember Chris, when I first met Chris back in the summer, in July time, Chris was telling me all about Cooper Miners then. He's a player that we would want and we would need. So he's been going Gary. I must admit, Barbaric, I'm reading your comments because further down, you said to Chris, you responded back to him by saying 3 days ago it was all over social media. I don't know. I have not heard of the of these links. As I said, it's someone that Chris has scouted and followed quite a bit. And when I say Chris, that's Meta Football TV, and he is saying, well, I hope they are true because he would be amazing for us. So, yeah, I don't know anything about them rumours, mate. If I did, I'd tell you, but I've not heard anything at all. So, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. But anyway, but saying that, yeah, the under-21s seem to be doing well, 4-0 up. For the people that are watching the under-21s, which I think there's about 4 of you in the chat that are watching it at the moment, does that mean the under-18s have already played? Or are they playing simultaneously at the same time in their game? Because I know that Dave Harris said last night that that they were both games going together today. So, mate, yeah, take care, matey. Take care. Thank you very much for joining. Have a great day, guys. I've got to get some sleep. Great to meet you today. Yesterday, Jose. Nate, get yourself some sleep, brother. It's a pleasure meeting you last night. Great guy. Know your stuff about Tottenham, and you're more than welcome in my chat and that whenever you want to come in, mate. And yeah, get some rest, pal. Thank you very much. Chris, you're asking me to check my WhatsApp. Hold on. Oh. Good job. You sent me a message on here because I want to see it because my phone's been in another room and I've got it on silent. I never keep my phone on. I always keep it on silent. Let me have a look. Let me have a look at this. Let me have a look. So Rob Belcher, hi Rob. Rob Belcher's also watching the under 18s. The under 18s all square 1-1 at City, minutes to go before extra time. So Rob, can you is that also a cup game as well for the under 18s? Can you let us know if it is? Because I think that's what Dave Harris was trying to say yesterday, and I'm sure he said, well, he must have said that. Good afternoon, Wayne. Nice to see you, mate. You're just in time. This is a last call to get people's predictions in, so I will get your predictions in now, pal. As we're doing these, and then you got Man United 2. So for easiness, so it's 1-3 because it's an away victory for Man City. You've gone for Scum 2-0. That makes it that one, and Wolves 3-0. Right, Wayne, if you're still here, mate, you're missing West Ham Brentford. I haven't got West Ham Brentford. You'll need to get your West Ham Brentford in. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. It's Chris from Metaphor TV.
Morning.
Yeah, Rob's confirming it's a. What can you give us? I don't know who this is. So yeah, it's a final. So the under 18s at the moment it's Manchester City 1, Tottenham 1, quarterfinals of the cup, and there's only minutes to go before they go into extra time. Right, okay. And Tottenham's under 21s are winning 4-0 in their cup game against Fleetwood at the moment. So Wayne, you're missing one result, mate. You are missing West Ham Brentford.
What's that noise? It's you.
Yeah, that's the Monday match, I think it is.
What is going on with his phone? I don't know. I don't know who it is. It's just madness. Sorry, that was my phone. It's going absolutely mad. Right, Brentford 2, West Ham 1. Right, so sorry, Chris, I will be with you in a second. West Ham, so it's 1-2. Right, just for ease in this, Wayne, because you've just joined, I have gone Villa 3, Forest 2. And whilst we've got Chris here, we might as well do Chris's. Chris has gone Villa 3, Forest 2. I've gone Brighton 3, Everton 0. Chris has gone Brighton 2, Everton 1. Sorry, 3. Brighton 3, Everton 1. I've gone Crystal Palace 3, Burnley 0. Chris has gone for a 2-2 draw. I've gone Man United 1, Fulham 2. Chris has gone Man United 3, Fulham 1. We've both gone for Man City to win. I've gone 4-0. Chris has gone 2-1.
No, and look, yeah, I think I put that Bournemouth to win.
Yeah, you put Bournemouth. Sorry, you got Bournemouth to win 2-1.
Yeah.
So you got 2-1 to Bournemouth. I've got 4-0 City. Chris has gone 4-2 to Arsenal. I've gone 2-1 to Newcastle. Chris has gone 3-1 to Wolves. I've gone 4-0 Wolves. And Chris has gone 3-0 West Ham, Brentford, and I've gone 3-1 to West Ham. So for completeness, that is everybody's predictions so far. Not sure, Rob. Are you interested in doing the predictions? Because you're one of the ones that hasn't done it here at the moment. It's in the chat. If you're interested in doing predictions, just let me know. I'll flag up the the games for you, and you can get your predictions in. You got Rob saying hello to you. You got Barbaric saying hello to you. Nice to see the legendary Met Football back. Always enjoy his takes on Tottenham and football in general. Rob Belcher saying hello to you as well. And you've had David Shear saying hello, but you said hello already. So, right. Chris, how are you, sir?
Hi, yeah, no, not bad, thank you. Just come back from football. Took my, the family, but my daughter was playing. They won 3-1 away. So happy morning. And not bad.
Do you have to go far? Do you have to go far for the game?
No, Sather, which is literally 10 minutes down the road.
Okay,
so and my son's playing tomorrow in Coruña, which is about 20 minutes down the road. So that's an evening, about 5:30 game. So because I'm coaching, a lot of people don't know I'm coaching. I'm a second coach because I'm still doing my badge until the end of the season. I've still got to go to like the training sessions and go to the matches as well. So yeah, I've got to be there regardless of whether my son goes or not. So I've got a match at 5:30 tomorrow. So yeah, doing pretty good, doing pretty well. Life has its ups and downs, but yeah, I'm back sporadically here and there, and I hope everyone is well as well. Hope you're well, sir. So pretty cool to be back and seeing the love that everyone shows. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah. Right. Cooper Miners, tell these people about Cooper Miners because you've been going on since the summer about Chad. I must admit, Chris, I've not seen, like I said to Barbaric, I think we put it the comment up there. I didn't see these links 3 days ago, but I know that you've done it. Sorry, I've just seen Rob. So let me just come back to you on that Cooper Miners. I would have thought for a minute. Right, Rob. So the first score I need from you, mate. We do this on a weekly basis. The first score I need from you is what your prediction is for Villa Forest. So if you can give me your prediction scoreline for Villa Forest, then that's the first game we're looking at.
That's going to be a tough one anyway. I mean, I can't remember what I put. I think 2-1 or 3-1 Villa, but that is a bit of a risky one because Villa at home and recently they're in a bit of a sticky patch.
You and I both gone for the same. You and I went for the same, Chris. We both went 3-2.
Oh yeah. Well, you see, that's Villa are expected to win, but I mean, of late they haven't been doing too well. They're in a bit of a sticky patch, as I was saying. And Forest, they've got good players, and they haven't been doing too badly. So anything can go. But 3-2 is a pretty tight scoreline. So
And look what Rob's gone for.
Rob doesn't know his left from his right hand. So that's why he copied up.
Right, Rob, Brighton versus Everton, mate. Yeah, there's only 8 games this week, so you can get through these games quite quickly because yesterday we done quite well. Yesterday we got through them in about 50 minutes in the end. No, just under an hour to get a load of people putting in their predictions on the show yesterday because it's scattergun. People are commenting about topics as well as other people putting predictions in, so you don't have to read each one and dissect and pick it out. So to do it within an hour yesterday was quite a result. So there's a comment. So he's gone for 2-2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well.
Next one is Palace Burnley.
So that's a tricky one as well.
So me and Chris, just go back to Brighton Everton. I've gone 3-0 to Brighton, and Chris has gone for 3-1, I believe. Yeah, Chris went for 3-1 in that game. So that's our results. There's 2 comments just come in. So is there one of them the result?
No.
That's Barbaric. This is, let me see what it says. This is just what I was saying. Tottenham Hotspur are said to be leading the transfer race to sign Atlanta midfielder Tien Cooper Miners alongside Liverpool. And Wayne is saying Forest won't be a pushover. Are Villa still in Europe? Yes, Villa are still in Europe. And Rob Belcher is going for 1-1. And what's that? That's Palace. Was that Palace Burnley? Yeah. And,
Yeah, I imagine so. Yeah.
And so you know, Rob, I've gone for 3-0 to Palace, and Chris has gone for a 2-2 draw. Right, so that's that one out of the way. The next one we've got is Manchester United versus Fulham, Rob.
Just going to get a jacket. I'm a bit cold.
Okay,
Hang on a minute.
okay, cool, no worries.
Oh dear. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, Wayne's comment is pretty true. It won't be a pushover. Yeah. That's what I was saying.
3-0 gone out. Chatry. Rob, I don't know. I'm going to put you 3-0 in, and then I'll tell you what we went for. Right, I've gone for Manchester United 1, Fulham 2, and Chris has gone for Manchester United 3, Fulham 1. I've done mine because I did mine after listening to all the pressers and that. They've lost Højlund. Man United have no Højlund for the next 3 matches, and he's been their mainstay and the one that's been scoring their goals. He's the one that's like uniting the team for the last 4 games. He's now out for the next 3 weeks. With an injury for a minimum of 3 weeks. Hence why I went for a different result. Bournemouth versus City, Rob.
While Rob gives us his prediction, I'm just going to jump in and say Villa are currently 4th, 2 points ahead of Spurs. 49 Villa, 47 Spurs. Okay, so that's 4th and 5th respectively.
Looks cold over there. So you got Ellie saying, "Big up to you, Chris." Which I saw you waving, so you've obviously seen that.
Yeah, that was for Ellie.
David
Thank you. Thanks for the comment, Ellie.
Looks cold over there, gents. Well, I'm in England. Chris is in Spain, and obviously we're in Europe. We're probably separated by about 1,500 miles or something, 1,500 miles or whatever it may be. But
No,
yeah. In Europe, it's kind of cold at the moment.
Yeah, it's cold here.
So 1-2, Rob's gone for Bournemouth 1, Manchester City 2, and Chris has gone for
2-1 Bournemouth.
Chris has gone 2-1 for Bournemouth to win, and I've gone 0-4 to Man City. I just think Man City are going to tonk someone. I really do. They're just going to tonk someone. Arsenal versus Newcastle, Rob. Here we go.
Chris, have you watched Sebastian Szymanski play in Turkey? I have not, Adrian. No, I know of him, but I haven't watched a great deal. Unfortunately, I haven't had a lot of time, but I do know of him, Adrian. Yeah, thanks for the question. I do appreciate that.
2-2. So I've gone Arsenal 1, Newcastle 2, and Chris has gone Arsenal 4, Newcastle 2. The reasoning behind my score is they've got 3 players back this week, Newcastle, and that means that Harvey Barnes will be playing, Isak will be playing down the middle, and Gordon. So that's their front 3, which speed to burn galore there. And Joe Willock is back in the midfield from Newcastle, so it strengthens their midfield. Their defence is all right because they've got no injuries in defence at the moment. So it's the only injury they've got really is to their goalkeeper, where Pope's out for the remainder of a good part of the season. But I just think Newcastle, if you can keep Arsenal quiet at the library for 20 minutes, the first 20 minutes, then you'll keep them quiet in the library the whole game. Wolves, Sheffield United, please, Rob.
Garnacho for the hat trick again. Says
Yeah.
Ellie.
Yeah, no, I think that's what Rob said earlier.
Yeah.
And so she's saying Garnacho for the hat trick, and she
Mm.
presumes that Rob's going to put a bet on that as well.
Yeah.
3-1 to Wolves is what Rob's going for. Right,
No pressure, Rob.
I've gone 4-0. Rob's gone 3-1, and you, Chris, went for 3-1 as well.
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay, and then the last game, Rob, and then you're in for the week, mate, is West Ham versus Brentford.
I don't trust West Ham, to be honest. They're very regular. So
I've based this on home. I've based this on the injuries, the injury list, and seeing what the injuries are to both teams is how I've based my one.
Yeah, you seem to look into it more, and with the the TV back home and the media and stuff. I don't base it on anything. I just base it on my own.
Oh no! I'm not looking.
instinct.
I've got. There's a page, web page, which has got the
Right.
Premiership injuries, and so by
Right.
club, it tells you their injuries, what they've got, when they were injured, and when they're likely to be back, or when they're likely to be assessed, and that's
Okay.
what I've gone by. So Rob's
Right.
gone 2-2 in that game as well.
Yeah, sounds a bit fair.
Chris has gone 3-3, Rob.
Yeah.
And I've gone 3-1 to West Ham. And that's only because of Brentford, their injury list. And I think their injury list is too much for them to cope at West Ham, is my belief. So if I told you their injury list, Chris. Right,
Yeah,
so
oh God, I might change it.
right, Rico Henry is out till next season. Aaron Hickey.
Oh, no.
Aaron Hickey is out till next season. Ethan Pinnock is out till April. Kevin Sade, April. Mbeumo, April. Josh Da Silva doesn't have a return date.
Oh, that's 7-0 at least.
That's what I'm saying. So that's how that's how I based mine.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Well, if I'd known that, I may have put a 2-0 or a 3-1. Yeah.
Ellie's saying it's cold in Spain. It's freezing in London today. It's frosty. Right. So, Chris, I did ask you, and then I went to Rob. Rob, thank you very much. I've got your predictions in. You're all locked in, mate. I was asking you about Cooper Miners because it's someone that you've been speaking to me about since July, since I first met you, mate. And tell the people that are here, tell them, apart from Barbaric, who probably knows because he's already put a comment in there. Tell the rest of the people all about Cooper Miners, the chap at Atlanta.
Right, Cooper Miners is someone that I first found out about when he was playing for AZ Alkmaar in the Netherlands, and basically off FIFA the game, he was a centre back, but really he's like a very can you say polyvalent? Or he's very he can play anywhere in the midfield. He can play as a holding 6. He can play as we play, rotating 8. He can play as a 10. He can play as a centre back. He's got very, very good left and right foot. Indistinctly, he can play off the left or the right foot brilliantly. Great passing, great long distance shooting. He's a very, very complete player. And of course, if you want to call the Dutch Nordic, well, they've got that kind of mentality that they compete well and they are disciplined. So I think that he's a complete package, which is why I've been following him so much. And currently plays for Atalanta in Italy. Been there for a few seasons now, I think. He could have a hefty, or quite a hefty price tag on him. But I think that he's an extremely valuable player, and could be extremely important if he came to Spurs. And I think that someone else was mentioning it before. Not sure who it was, could have been Rob, but said that Liverpool were looking at him as well. Now, if Liverpool are looking at him, and we are rumoured to be in for Coop Miners, then that just goes to prove that, not because I've seen him, but he is someone that teams are obviously in for complete players that can play in different positions and that are valued. So that's basically why I like, players like that. He's like a kind of like a Frankie de Jong kind of player that
Yeah.
can attack, can defend, can play in the, he can hold the mid. So yeah, basically that's why I've been ranting and raving about Koopmeiners. I think he's just brilliant. To sum it up,
You've also got what's he said? So Adrian is saying, Chris Koopmeiners from Atlanta looks a good fit for Rangers system. 6 foot tall, left footed, 25-year-old centre defensive midfielder or centre mid. He's putting him down as.
yeah.
And
But
then
yeah,
you've
basically that's a rough, yeah, from Adrian. Yeah.
You've got Hoyland out. Jose just said at least 3 weeks. Yeah, at least 3 weeks. What I said, at least 3 games he's going to be out for. West Ham are like laxative too, Chris. They are not just irregular; they are shite.
Well,
I
mean,
you're being asked.
Yep.
You're being asked. Will 60 million get Koopmeiners?
I'm thinking in the region between 40 plus, 50 plus in that region. If Atalanta finish in Europe or in the top 4, you're looking at 50, 60. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a good quote. But, it all depends on the agents and etc. But yeah, 60 would be I wouldn't go over 60.
Would you go anywhere near 60? I don't know whether I'd go anywhere 60. It's got to be a lot lower than that.
That's what I'm saying, 40, 60, but it depends. You're looking at least 40, 50, and it depends on where Atalanta finish because they're not the Atalanta of Duvan Zapata, where they were finishing like top 3, top 4 a few years ago. They've been quite a long time under Gasparini. They're not functioning as they used to, despite having Koopmeiners, despite having other players. So they're not the force they used to be. But depending on where they finish, that will determine the price. Obviously, as like with any other player, that is a standout player for them. If they finish top 4, their price will be higher than if they finish 5th or 6th, 7th, or if they win a cup. We all know this. Yeah. It's nothing new. So it really does depend. But 60, I wouldn't go over 60. And 60 would be, that would be so much money. But between 40 and high 50s, mid 50s, I would pay it because what is he saying? 25 years old. You've got to play there for 8 years. Brilliant player. And he would have a high selling on price if you would sell him after 4 years, 5 years. So he maintained his value pretty well.
Right. So just to bring in people,
yep.
I'm sorry, we'll throw in Skip plus 35.5 million. David Shear saying for him. Right, just to bring people up to date. So the team news for Villa versus Nottingham Forest. Villa are unchanged from their game last week. So they start with Martinez, Cash, Longley, Torres, Moreno, Bailey, McGinn, Louise, Ramsey, Tielemans, Watkins. And Forest make one change and bring Niakate in. And so their defence... So their team is Sells in goal, Williams, Felipe, Murillo, Niakate, Dominguez, Danilo, Elanga, Gibbs-White, Hudson-Odoi, and Awomini. So that's that team. Fulham versus Manchester United. So Manchester United have made 2 changes. So they've lost Luke Shaw and they've lost Hoyland from last week. So they've replaced Hoyland and Shaw with Victor Lindelof playing at left back. And they've brought in a youngster, 19-year-old called Amari Forson to play up front. So Man United's team is Onana, Lindelof, Maguire, Varane, Dalot, Casemiro, Mainu, Fernandes, Garnacho, Rashford and Forson. Fulham make 6 changes from their team that lost last week. Calvin Bassey and Tosin replace Diop and Tim Ream. And Harrison Reed and Harry Wilson, Alex Iwobi and Sasa Lukic are the 4 changes they've made in midfield. So and Paulinho is banned for 2 games. He's got too much ban. So Fulham's lineup is Leno, Castagna, Bassi, Tossin, Robinson, Reed, Wilson, Iwobi, Pereira, Lukic, Muniz. Muniz has started scoring goals. Don't know where he's come from, but he started scoring goals. The next lineups we've got is Crystal Palace versus Burnley. And it's his first game for Olivier Glasner, and he is playing what appears to be a 5-3-2. So last week's 5-3-2 was because of Glasner. So he's probably selected that team and the style of play before Hodgson even left the club. So Crystal Palace's team is Johnston in goal, which means Henderson is still being dropped out the side. They've got back three of Joel Ward, Anderson and Richards. Their wing backs are Munoz and Mitchell. In midfield, they have Lerma and Wharton. And the front three are Ayew, Mateta and Edouard. For Burnley have Trafford in goal. They're playing a 4-4-2 with Trafford in goal. A back four of Assignon, O'Shea, Esteve, Taylor. Midfield of Goodmanson, Burge, Brownhill, Odobert. Up front, Fofana and Amdouni. And then Everton, Brighton, which I think might be the last game. Yeah, the fifth game for the day because the other one's an evening game. Brighton versus Everton. Brighton go in with... So Brighton have made two changes from their 5-0 win against Sheffield United. Mitoma misses out with a back injury and is replaced by Evan Ferguson. And Igor Julio comes in for Adam Webster in defence. So Brighton line up with Verbruggen in goal. A back four of Lamptey, Van Gek, Dunn, Igor Julio. In midfield, Gross and Gilmore. Then a three of Adingra, Barnotte and Welbeck and Ferguson as a spearhead. Everton have made one change from their 1-1 draw with Palace, where Jack Harrison has replaced Ashley Young. So they're going in with a 4-4-2 of Pickford, Godfrey, Tarkowski, Brathwaite, Mikolenko. Across the midfield, they've got Harrison, Guayi, Garner, McNeil. 10 is Decore and Calvert-Lewin up front. So that gives you all the Premiership lineups for the 5 games that are being played in 45 minutes' time. Adrian is asking you, Chris. Chris, you must have also watched Edison from Atlanta.
Yeah, I did. I'll answer him in the chat. I do know him from Brazil a little bit. And
sorry, I was reading from somewhere else. I wasn't looking at this. I was reading from somewhere else.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I do know of him from Salernitana a few years ago before he's moved to Atalanta. I think he's a defensive midfielder, 6 foot something. But I haven't been watching a lot of football of late through personal reasons. But I do know of Edison. Thank you for the question, Adrian. Yeah.
Ellie said, let's buy him, Chris. You're another scout from another. Let's buy him, Chris. You're another scout with discounts. I'm another. You're another. This is another. Okay, right. You're getting sausage fingers, Ellie. Sausage fingers while you're typing. Daniel Shear saying, Daniel, calm, Cobb. I was only asking. Rob Belcher. I was close to choosing Elanga for my fantasy team. That's one player I'd love at Spurs. Yeah. The fantasy this week, Rob, is quite difficult because there's lots of teams that are not playing. So I think that in my fantasy, I managed to swap out a load of players last week, use my wild card to bring in City, Liverpool players and players that were going to play the double game week, not realising that this week I can only make one transfer. And in the end, I didn't transfer anybody at all. So I've got no Liverpool players playing. I've got no Tottenham players playing, and I've got them in my team. So I've got like half a team playing. So we'll wait and see what happens. Cooper Miners is good, but not 60 million. Ellie's saying it's not a onesie, it's a dressing gown that Adrian sports and is famous for. David Shear saying that he looks like Alec Guinness in Star Wars, Ellie. Obi-Wan, the robed one, is what David Shear saying again. Don't get me wrong, though. Someone offers me Cooper Miners, I'll take him in a heartbeat.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's the chat that's been caught up with up until now. Have I got a starred question yet? Okay, there is a starred question. There we go. To you, Jose and Chris, which 3 Spanish players should Spurs be going for in the summer?
Well,
So it's hard to quantify this. Is this when money's no object, or is this when we're talking sensible? If money's no object, who should Spurs go for in the summer? You are allowed to raid Barcelona.
yeah.
You are allowed to raid Barcelona. If money was no object, so Ellie, our responses are going to be right. So just for the chat, before you start exploding, our responses are going to be: firstly, 3 players that we would just love to have at Tottenham. Money's no object, and you know, so we're living in fantasy. But then after that, you can probably pick 3 players that you could go for. So who are your 3, Chris? And you can raid Barca if you want.
Okay, then. Obviously, it's going to be Lamine Yamal. It's going to be Gavi, and it's going to be, I don't know. I don't know. There are a lot of players out there. I mean, Brahim. I mean, I don't really like Madrid, but Brahim is a very good player. So you just have to accept. And if you're talking football, Brahim is a very good player. So Brahim is pretty cool. So for argument's sake, yeah, Brahim, Lamine, and Gavi.
Okay, I would bring in Balde at left back. So you've got that left back that you wanted at Tottenham, because they said we need full backs. So I bring Balde in as left back.
Okay.
And Daniel Lee said that. But then the 2 that I'd bring in, and I'd play them in my front 3, would be Rodrigo and Vinicius. I'd put them in and play them in my front 3.
They're not Spanish.
Huh?
They're not Spanish.
Do they have to be Spanish, or she say Spanish clubs? Spanish players.
Spanish
okay.
Players.
Sorry. If it's Spanish players, yeah, okay. So if it's Spanish players, I'd bring Balde in. I'd bring Pedri and Gavi in. They're the 3 that I'd go for. So it would be raiding Barcelona.
That's all right. That's no problem.
I would be raiding Barcelona for all 3.
So, I'll raid Atalanta then.
Yeah.
I'll take Koopman, isn't it?
You've got Adrian Schroeder saying Ferran Torres.
There's something about him that just doesn't do it for me. He's better this season than he was last season. But I just no.
He's not consistent enough, is he, Chris?
No, but the team isn't consistent, so you can't really rate him this year. When he was at Valencia before he went to Man City, he was absolutely brilliant. Then he went to Man City, he didn't get as much game time as he may have wanted, but still a great player. He has it in him. It's just the lack of consistency on an individual level and on a team level. We're just not doing it. But he has improved slightly. But he just doesn't do it for me. I'm sorry. He will get there because he's still young. He will get there because he's got it in him. But time will tell.
See, I didn't think, in all honesty, I didn't think that. I didn't think Ferran Torres was consistent at Man City. And when he played, I just felt that he was in and out all the time out of games. And that's why Pep let him go again, because he just seemed to be in and out. He wasn't at it all the time that he was selected. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So for me, I'm a bit...
Yeah, that's the thing. He has got it in him. He's a good player, right? Don't get me wrong. He has got talent. He will have a bright future. He might not be Man City, Barcelona level, right? That's the thing, okay? He might have to sort his off the pitch issues out.
Yeah.
But he has got talent. You don't get to Man City, Valencia, Barcelona if you haven't got talent. You just, unless someone's stupid in the 3 clubs, which is not the case, right? But you have got talent. You just have to put your mind to it, and that's what he has to do.
Fair enough. Under 21s are now 5-0 up in the cup.
That's cool.
I'm not sure, Adrian, who's got the 4th and 5th. We know who'd got the first 3. So it's 2 for Scarlet and 1 for Lancashire, I think, along them lines. But we don't know about who's the rest of the scorers. Daniel Lee says, my 3 would be the same. Pedri, Gavi and Balde. But Yamal is also going to be a special player. I don't think he's going to be. I think he already is, to be honest, Dan. He already is. He's definitely a bright light at Barca at the moment. So, yeah.
And Balde's lost his place.
Balde's lost his place.
There's something going on with Balde that it's either contract issues or it's just that he's not consistent enough and he's lost his place. So Jacques Cancelo is playing left back. And,
I saw that. He played the other night, didn't he, at left back?
Yeah. And and even Hector Fort, who's like a B team player, has even come in at left back on a couple of games. And Balde hasn't even played. So there's something going on there that.
Is Balde's contract coming up to the end of the season or not?
I don't know. I don't know about dates, but there's something going on with Balde that he just is not functioning like he did last season, the season before. But he's a great player. It's just there's something going on that it's just not it's just not working.
So Chris, because you know Barcelona better than most because you support the team, right? What are the finances looking like now this season for them?
Yeah.
And what's the situation going to be like for them in the summer? Because last year we know that they didn't buy players and they brought in both the Joãos in on loans because that suited and they were able to do that. What's the financial situation looking like for them for this season?
Right. So basically, Barcelona had they've got like levers, financial levers. That's what they call them, palancas, which means that they were selling assets off. Like Barca Studios, they're selling like 40% this, that. So they're selling assets that belong to them, like portions, so that people in the chat or the people that are watching us understand a bit more. They are selling bits of their own of the club to raise funds so that they can have more buying power, right? Which means that they sell it off for 10, 15, 20, 25 years, but they can still buy it back within that period, right? So they've been successful in selling some of these levers, but there's one which was meant to be bought at the beginning of this year by a German company for 40 million euros, which means that if you sell X amount of your own company, that will give you more leeway to buy. Okay, according to Spanish rules and regulations, right? However, that fell through, which means that now Tebas, which is the Spanish, the league president, has came out, I think last week or the week before, saying that where Madrid has almost got 800 million to spend between buying and wages, Barcelona has gone down to the low 500 because of the sale of those 40 million that didn't go through. So financially, to be able to buy and wages, etc., we have lost buying power. We have money, right? But to be able to do these things, you have to be able to allocate properly, and we can't allocate. So because you have to do things within those certain parameters, and we can't do that unless we generate more funds. So that's a bit complicated, a bit short explanation, but that's what's going on, which is why we're having to loan players in.
So where does that leave you, Chris? Where does that leave Barcelona for the end of this season? Are the 2 players that they got loaned, are they going back? Are they looking to get rid of players? Is Barcelona's squad oversized? You know, do you have more than 25 in the squad out there at the moment? Or is it that you've brought youngsters in from the B team and they don't count in your squad at the moment? You know, what was it looking like at Barcelona?
They are looking to sign João Cancelo on a permanent deal, but then they are saying that at least one big player, like one big earner that can generate a big sale, has to be sold. And there's a big campaign, media campaign, that possibly is coming out from the club that's used in the media that wants to get rid of Frankie de Jong, which is why the rumor came out regarding Spurs that Spurs made a 60 million offer to Barcelona for Frankie de Jong, which was total bollocks. Sorry for my friend. It was total rubbish. Right? It's total rubbish. That never existed. Although Spurs may be interested in players like Frankie de Jong, and who wouldn't be, that never existed. So that is a bit, it's just all haywire. It's all, up in the air. Araujo is meant to be wanted by Bayern Munich. They tried to sign him last summer and this winter. We're talking in excess of 100 million euros. He's not a big earner, but the 100 million would free up a lot of money to be able to allocate. So you're looking at a big earner being sold. If not, we're going to be stuck with a lot of like B team players or new loans, but it's not looking good. So unless we can get that package deal that didn't get sold to the Germans for 40 million, we're looking worse than we are this season.
So do Barcelona have a figure in their head that they're going to get Cancelo for? Because I can see Man City, they'll probably have a figure in mind, Man City, that they'll do business at. But what do Barcelona believe they're going to get Cancelo for?
Well, it's all press, and press over here in Spain is awful. They're talking 50, 60, but Barcelona can't pay 50, 60.
So 50, 60 million euros?
Yeah, which is around 45, 50 million pound.
Right, but that's probably the kind of money that Man City paid for João Cancelo. Yeah. And to be honest, although João Cancelo hasn't played for Manchester City, he has gone on loan to Bayern and Barca. And I don't think... Did he go Juve as well?
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't think his stock has diminished anything because he's not been playing for Man City. So I think he's a player that, if anything, he's retained his value. And
definitely.
In that case, I can't see Man City saying, okay, you can have him for any less than £50 million.
No, I think you have got João Mendes, which is his agent, that says, right, I'm just making these up. Right, well, Barcelona want him. He wants to stay at Barcelona. He's got guaranteed first team, like starting 11 status. Right? But in the meantime, Man City can have, first dibs on Barcelona's, or I'll get you players in that you might be interested in, for cheaper, blah, blah, blah. Because today's football world is all about agents. It's not about clubs and players anymore. So, if I can scratch your back this way, you can scratch my back that way, and we'll all come to an agreement. And you can say Barcelona, that they're in financial, distress. Well, if they can come up to about 35 million, would that be okay? If then I can get you players that will be future, like potentially first 11 or squad players, would this be okay with you? Man City say, okay, right. Do you know what I mean? Scratching each other's back.
Yeah.
And it's all agent power, and we know what Mendes is like. So,
yeah, but I know what the agent's like. But then also, Man City are no mug club. You know what I mean? And Man City don't pay over the odds for players, and they certainly ain't going to let players go for cheap. I mean,
no. But then Pep won't want someone that's conflictive. And the only reason why João Cancelo was loaned out was because he moaned about not being a starting 11 player. You see, because he's a conflictive player. And Pep doesn't want conflictive players in his team. And he'd rather play, some unknown guy that he's got that's really good from the under 17s.
Rico Lewis.
Or Rico Lewis or whoever.
Rico Lewis is 18. He's the one that came and when Cancelo went, he's the one that got given his chance, was Rico Lewis.
Yeah, exactly. But even if you want to give an even more extreme example, Pep would rather put a 15-year-old there, make him the EPL's youngest starter, than João Cancelo, who's a conflictive player.
To make a statement.
You know what I mean? So that's And that's why he's gone to Juve. That's why he's gone to Bayern. That's why he's come to Barcelona, because Pep doesn't care if he's the best right back, left back in the world. If you're going to create a problem in my team, you're not playing, because the group, the whole context of the group is more important than one player, even if you're the best. Which is why when he was at Barcelona, he let Ronaldinho, Eto'o, Deco, all these egotistic, big-headed players leave because they were influencing Messi so much. So it's the context which is more important than the individual.
Let me come back to Barcelona in a second, because we've got some
No
comments
problem,
I
no
just want to answer.
Yeah, sure.
It's interesting. So David Shear is saying Kimmich.
Kimmich for Barcelona as well.
I think Kimmich won't go anywhere, to be honest, David, because Tuchel's going. And I think the Kimmich and Mullers of this world, they wanted Tuchel out, and they're in the out camp. They've now got their wish. So I believe that they will end up staying at Bayern because they've got their wish and Tuchel has gone. Stay Humble saying that Barcelona are a mess. Daniel Lee's saying about it, it's because he's injured, mate. He ain't losing his place on performance.
I beg to differ.
And what I will say to Daniel is Chris is in Spain, is a Barcelona supporter, and therefore all over it. Stay Humble saying couldn't afford to pay Messi, but then went and spent hundreds of millions. I don't think they spent hundreds of millions when they got rid of Messi, because when they let Messi go, they were already in financial trouble. And then they started selling off rights for this, that, and the other, like Chris was saying. And they're still not in a stable position. So I can't see where, and if they brought two players in on loan, where have they spent these millions? I can't see it. Stay humble. Ellie, just to go last first, says, no, give Højbjerg to me. He can play footy in my backyard. I have a good stretch of grass, David. Daniel Lee is saying Barcelona's been a circus for quite a while. Now, with every summer, it's actually a disgrace what's happening at that football club. Ellie's words, bollocks is more juicy word than rubbish, Chris. Now I can say that as I'm in the chat. Daniel Sandoval is saying, Buenas tardes to la familia. One love. Buenas tardes, Daniel.
Buenas.
Stable Humble is saying Nico Williams is a good player. Yep, I agree. He is a good player. Daniel Lee saying, and Pep also don't want Cancelo back, so Barca should be able to get the price down a little.
Yeah.
Rob Belcher is saying, since Pep started to coach Barca, I've been a massive fan. That midfield of Xavi, my favourite player, Iniesta and Messi with Puyol and others. Wow. It's also my favourite city with the Gaudi stuff.
Yeah.
And then we have Neil. Good afternoon, Neil. I can't wait for Man City to get punished. Here they are lording it over transfers or getting all the quality and then selling it on. And Adrian is letting us know that the under-21s have now gone 6-0 up with Santiago. Safely say that they're going to get through to the next round. I'm going to come back to you, Chris, on Barcelona, but we've got a question here from Adrian. He said, would left winger João Felix suit Ange's system?
Is that for me?
I'm going to put it to you because you're here. So he's saying, would left winger João Felix suit Ange's system?
I don't think he's a left winger to start with. I think he's a left forward, which is different, which is more narrower. But left wing, he's too inconsistent for me. I'd say technically he's very gifted, but he disconnects too much from the game. He can score when he's connected. He's a very good player technically, and he scores goals. But he disconnects too much, and I don't think that Ange would want him near Spurs, because Ange wants players that can graft, whether they're technical or tactical, whether they do the dirty work or not. Ange wants players. He doesn't want, half-assed efforts. So I don't think that João Felix ever gets near Spurs, in my opinion.
I found that João Felix, Adrian, and for people in the chat and to Chris, I found that when João Felix was at Chelsea, you could see exactly what Chris is describing now, because I felt that at Chelsea. He was in and out of games, wasn't consistent enough, wasn't the kind of player that wanted to throw his body on the line for the team and stuff like that. It just didn't seem to be that team player for me at Chelsea. And I think that it's probably similar-ish to what's happening to him at Barca at the moment as well. So I think what's happened is that is a player. Technical ability is great. You're right, Chris. He's also had he was bought on his technical ability and his potential, and Atletico Madrid took the plunge. Atletico Madrid never spend that kind of money, and then Atletico Madrid spent over £100 million on him. I don't know how many euros they spent on him, but it was over
120 million on a 17-year-old.
120 million euros, and what I think has happened is backfired. Him and the manager of Atletico do not get on. Do not see eye to eye. Yes, they don't see eye to eye. And how many? Right, he's been loaned to Chelsea. He's now loaned to Barca. Has he been loaned to anyone else?
No.
Okay, but he's had 2 loans in 3 years. He's probably been at Atletico. He's had 2 loans, unless he's been there longer. He's had 2 loans already, and still no one. I think if he goes back from Barca, because Barca can't afford him or don't want to buy him or whatever, and he goes back to Atletico Madrid, I don't see Atletico Madrid, if Simeone's there, playing him, and I can only see another loan for him going back out again somewhere. But the one thing I will say is that I said that transfers have changed and will continue to change in the foreseeable future. We can see with these FFP rules, and you're not going to get these silly money sprees anymore that we were getting. I think prices will come back down. So I think Atletico Madrid are going to end up taking an absolutely ginormous hit on this player, because I don't think they'll even get half of what they paid out for him back. But that's just my humble opinion on this. So, right, where will we chat? So, Kimmich will go to Man City, is according to Daniel Lee. I think he will stay put now that Tuchel is going, because if they're going to bring in one of these German managers or managers that manage in Germany, I think they'll go hand in hand with Kimmich, and I think Kimmich will stay. Kimmich, Goretzka, all these players, they'll all stay. They'll all end up staying, and if anything, Bayern will go.
It depends, Jose. It depends if Flick were to go back to Bayern Munich. All of these big dogs that Bayern have, like Müller and Kimmich, they will not be staying because they couldn't stand him at the German team. So they will be wanting out.
I have a strong suspicion that they're going to get Xabi Alonso. I really do. I think Bayern would get Xabi Alonso.
Right, well, then that's a different question.
I think because with Bayern have said to Xabi that they would not stand in his way if one of his previous clubs came in for him. So that narrows it down to three big teams, doesn't it? It's Liverpool, Real Madrid, or Bayern. So any of them, they wouldn't stand in his way. And I just think that Xabi, because he's in the German league at the moment with Leverkusen, I think Xabi will. I've got a feeling he's going to end up at Bayern Munich. Although Real Madrid might be looking for a manager for next season, and so Liverpool, and so Bayern. So all three will possibly be looking for managers.
Ancelotti's staying at Madrid.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think that's confirmed because there was a big suspicion that he was going to Brazil, and he's not. Yeah. He's renewed, so he's staying.
Okay,
that's according to last.
Yeah, it could be one for the future for him. You know, I don't think the door's closed for him.
No,
but I've got a feeling that Alonso may end up at Bayern. If he ends up at Bayern, your Kimmiches and all these players are staying, mate. They're not going anywhere else.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that if Flick were to go, but because Barcelona are looking at, it's all coming out that Flick is the favourite to go to Barcelona, right? I don't want Flick anywhere near Barcelona. I don't rate him. I don't care that he's won the sextuple or whatever you want to call it in English. I don't care, because that's like the same as Di Matteo when he won the Champions League with Chelsea. He you know what I mean? Like anyone can win a match on 90 minutes, right? But I don't rate Flick. Flick didn't do anything in Germany. Everyone wanted him out of Germany. So if he were to go to Bayern Munich, Kimmich is out. Müller is leaving. So if Nagelsmann were to go back to Bayern Munich, which I doubt it, but if he were to go to Bayern Munich, Kimmich was Nagelsmann's right-hand man. He was like Xavi, Guardiola under Cruyff. He was like Xavi under Guardiola. So Kimmich would be Nagelsmann's right-hand man. Now, if Xabi Alonso were to go there, you're totally right. I think that these players would, unless he doesn't want them, but they would push to stay because it's totally different managerial philosophy, and and how he treats players, and totally different. That's the way I look at it. But Flick, they would be running. They would lose money to leave. They leave the whole baggage full of money there. No way am I staying if Flick's here. They don't want him. Not at all.
Right, so we've got Neil saying, afternoon, sir, after we said hello to Neil. Stay Humble is saying, sorry, you're right. They spent 50 million on Torres only, and the rest was free agents, but I can't see their wages being cheap. Neil is saying, what Ange needs more than anything is a player who puts the ball in the net first chance. Daniel saying, João Felix is hard enough worker to work in the system. No, I don't think so. Daniel Sandoval is saying good afternoon to David in his usual way, to big up Cobber. Neil saying we have the potential and create plenty of attacking positions, but I've lost the urge to shoot when there is a chance. Come back to that because João Felix is not built for this league technically, but his work rate wise is nowhere near. David Shear, Ange doesn't take any BS and doesn't want prima donna characters, hence no Jota, mercenary. Oh, harsh. Neil saying we don't need
harsh, but
we don't need Felix at Spurs. If they want to spend on a wide player again, then Rafinha might as well be the man. Kimmich, he's only got 18 months left on his contract. Adrian, I didn't even know you put in there Alonso. I've got a feeling Alonso will end up at Bayern. That's my opinion and my opinion only. Chris has said his opinion just now, but I believe that. Right, look who we've got here. So you've got Neil saying, right, you've got Yo-Yo and my homies. Leo, I've sent you a message, right, because you haven't given your predictions yet. So I've sent you a message. The kickoffs, Leo, are in 17 minutes. So you've got 17 minutes, Leo, to get your predictions in. Neil says Bergwijn will find himself wide and inside like Kulu does. Remains to be seen. There's a lot of people that are saying hello. David Shear saying nearly time for this Cinderella to go to bed before I turn into a pumpkin. Yeah, you're 8 hours ahead there, mate. So it's now 11:15 at night for you, David. Yeah, mate, rest easy if you're going to bed, mate. Rest easy, have a good kip, have a good rest, and I will look forward to your morning message, which will be my evening when you get up in the morning. David always messages me, says good morning and says good evening to me and that. So I look forward to your message when you get up tomorrow, sir, which tells me that you're breathing another day. So, yeah, get some rest in. Right, you got good night, Cobber. I'm cooking breakfast almost 8 a.m. here in Denver. So if it's 8 a.m. they're in Denver, Leo, there's no reason why you can't get your predictions in, my son. What's wrong with you? There's a lot of people. Phone's charging, Jose. I'll do that right now. Leo, we can either do that or I can do it now. I'll do it on the screen now. You tell me the scores and I'll just plug them in for you. Right, Villa Forest, Leo. Dime, Villa Forest. Because then like that, you don't have to do it on your phone. You can just tell me your scores and I'll plug them in for you. See how nice I am to Leo. And to everybody else, though. I've managed to grab Chris today.
Yeah.
So today I've managed to grab Spurs GCTV, Audio Altizan, David Shear, Barbaric Disdain, Nate Pye, Rob Belcher. So I've grabbed another 6 for the predictions that never played this before.
You've done it 1-1.
Okay,
Sorry, 1-1.
And I managed to grab Stuart Colliver, Tricky One, Pramvat Singh, and Pivra Shirian yesterday. So I haven't done badly. I mean, we've got quite a few people doing it. Right, the next game, Leo, Brighton, Everton. So, Neil, you want to play as well? Hold on, Neil. Let me get you in. Mate. Neil is going for 2-1.
Okay.
So, Neil, we do this every week. So, if you're going to enter now, you might as well enter every week. So, Neil has gone 2-1.
2-2. 2-2 for Leo.
Leo's gone 2-2. What is it, Brighton Everton for you, Neil? Is that Neil coming in there?
Yeah, he says okay. Yeah, he's okay with that. But we need Brighton Everton for Neil.
Brighton Everton, Neil. What's your score? 2-1?
2-1.
2-1. Right.
Again.
Right. The next game we've got, gentlemen, for you guys is Palace Burnley. Quite a number. There's 20 people watching. I was only doing this as just a quick show to catch up the predictions. Who's that for?
1-0 Neil.
1-0 Neil. So just waiting for Leo.
Leo, Palace Burnley. 2-1 Palace.
Home team 2-1. And the next game we have is Manchester United Fulham. And as we say that, Daniel Sandoval is saying, Buenos días, carnal. Estás haciendo huevos rancheros loco. Yeah. Are you working today, Daniel? Because you working in la cocina. Eres cocinero. Are you working today, my friend?
3-2 Man U.
3-2 Man U for Leo. Yeah, there's only 17 likes, David, and do you know what that is? Because no one likes me, mate. I never get many
Neil
likes.
3-2 as well.
Yeah, like I said, just doing it now. I never get many likes on it, David. It seems to be that people forget to hit the like button. I must change the way I speak to people. And then I might get some more. The next one is Bournemouth City, please, gentlemen.
Did you put Neil's in? Sorry, Jose.
Yeah, they were both 3-2s. I've got them both.
Yeah, okay.
So I've got one comment's coming. That's all right, mate. You're on Bournemouth City, both of you. And Leo's reminding us that Huevos Rancheros is his daughter's favourite. City 4-1 for Leo.
Loco.
Snowflakes. Daniel, sorry, mate. I'm one of the Muppets who forgot to like. Thank you very much, Dan, if you have hit the like button, mate. It's much appreciated. Don't know what it does for my algorithms because I'm such a small channel.
Man City. Neil, Man City. Bournemouth at home to Man City.
Yeah, I'm such a small channel that I don't know what it does to my algorithms for me. But everyone tells me it's going to do something, so I have to. I appreciate the likes if I'm going to get them.
It will. It will.
No, he's saying to me, no, hoy estoy aquí. So no trabajas hoy, Daniel. So you're not working today then.
That's strange. On a Saturday, not working in the restaurants, or.
But if there's 7 days a week, you're gonna have to get some time off because you've got other people that can hold knuckle thin, can't they?
I appreciate that, but on well, yeah, I mean, yeah, it depends on when his breaks are, yeah. But on the weekends, normally full pelt, isn't it?
David, what am I up to? I thought it was about 197, but I'm not sure. You'll know. 4-0 to Man City from Neil. Okay, so it's a 0-4.
That is tough. That is. I don't know, man.
Same score as I went for. Same score as I went for.
Everyone's underestimating Iraola at home. Well,
Arsenal, Newcastle. I just think that Man City have been off the ball and only been sneaking wins. That I think that sooner or later they're going to click into gear. They only need that one game, and then they'll go on that run that they normally do. So,
yeah. I agree.
Yeah, 197 on. Yeah, so 3 more, David, and everyone that's in the comments is already subbed. I know that's sub because I've got it on sub only at the moment. So 3-2 to the Filth. So 3-2 to the Goons. And then Neil, I need your score,
Neil.
please.
Neil's got problems with his dog of bone.
Keeps dropping the dog. There we go. He's got something there. 2-2. Right. Only 2 more predictions to do, and then you're all in, guys. And that is for Wolves versus Sheffield United. And then I'm missing Ash. Ash hasn't sent me hers yet.
That's a nice one. Arsenal 2-0. Arsenal 2-2. Yeah. Oh.
Who's that? Who's gone with 2-2?
No. That's Arsenal 2-2. Says Neil.
Yeah, that's what I said. Who's gone for it? It says Neil's gone for 2-2 then.
Arsenal to win 2-2.
Arsenal 2-2. And then Leo. 3-0 to Wolves.
Yeah, Leo. Hard work is showing.
So Neil, I need your score for Wolves Sheffield. There we go. This is coming in 2-0.
2-0.
And the last score for you gentlemen, and you've just managed to get them in time, is West Ham versus Brentford, please, gentlemen. And then, with 7 minutes to go till kickoff, you have made the cut. Because 5 games immediately start in 7 minutes' time. And that means if anyone's a bit late with their predictions, they miss 5 out of the 8 games straight away if they're not in the next 7 minutes.
2-1 away.
Neil 1-2. And Leo?
Desmond.
Desmond Tutus. Leo, let me find Leo. Yes, they're all in. You're all in. You're all in, guys. With 6 minutes to spare till kickoff means you don't lose 5 of the games. So yeah, well done to the gentlemen that have just got in. Right, what I wanted to say, there was someone made a remark earlier, and I can't remember.
Did you not highlight it?
No, hold on. I'll come back to.
Oh.
What's Daniel saying? I forgot to bet my predictions that I gave. Usually do them as a bet as well, in case I get them all right one week. The results are not put a bet on. I would be gutted. Do you know what you did? If you don't, Danny, I'll tell you in running order. You gave me 2-0 to Villa. You've gone 3-0 to Brighton. You've gone 1-0 Palace. You've gone 2-0 Man U. You've gone 3-1 City, 2-1 Arsenal, 2-0 Wolves, and 2-1 Brentford, mate. That's what you ended up going for, just in case you needed to know. So what I was going to say is from someone made a comment earlier, and it was to do with the not taking players on, passing and stuff like that. And straight away, it just reminds me of Tottenham. So I think there was a comment someone made with regards to, I don't know, low block teams or whatever and stuff like that. And I was going to say that Tottenham have got the same problem. Chris, now that shuffle is over. What's up, brother? Hope you're well.
Yeah, I've answered him, yeah.
Right, so I'm just trying to see who made the comment earlier. But someone made a comment about football. I said I'm going to park that for a minute, and I can't remember who made the comment.
Do you want me to check just in case?
I'm getting up at the moment.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, Neil at 2:36. Neil says this. Right. We have the potential and create plenty of attacking positions, but I've lost the urge to shoot when the chance is there. So what I was going to say to you, Chris, because obviously you do the coaching and whatever, I call it the horseshoe. Yeah. So when people are playing low block, they're playing around in the horseshoe, aren't they? Yeah. And the edge of the box, people are playing around in the horseshoe. But I feel that the only way to break the horseshoe is either you go past the player, so you're getting behind the defenders by going past them, so attacking them down the flanks and going beyond them, or you've got to start taking shots. And the one that we definitely don't do is take shots. I can't recall how many shots we've taken from outside the box, to even create. So even if you took a shot and the goalkeeper got down and saved it and parried it out, and then you can run onto it. So that's creating a chance. If you don't score, you're still creating a chance, and you're breaking up the block in that. I can't remember the last time that we did it. Has Neil got a point here?
Right. So let me just go back to that. We have the potential and create plenty of attacking positions, but have lost the urge to shoot when the chance is there. Right. So basically, what you're saying is to defeat the low block is to go down the flank and beat your man down the flank to either cross, low cross or high cross, whatever the chance may be, right? But we're not beating that man.
No,
we're not doing that. We're not doing that, right? Because whenever we go down the flank, right, they're putting a two-man defensive unit on our one man, right? Which means that it goes out for a corner or we have to play back, right? So, do we have chances to shoot? Possibly, but I will say, right, that
it says here we've lost. It says here, Chris, we've lost the urge to shoot.
Yeah, but I'm gonna get to that.
Sorry.
Because the urge is you can interpret that in so many different ways, right? Because what we see from the television, right, is 30 meters and in diagonal, and we're seeing it from stands, right? But when you're in front of a low block or a hybrid mid-low block, all you're seeing is your players in front of you either fixing a defender, right, or a whole wall of defenders. So you might have the urge to shoot, but you can't shoot, right? Because Maddison might receive the ball and he's probably the best shooter we've got in the team, right? With all due respect, he's probably the person we've got with the most quality on the ball, right? Imagine that he's got it on the edge of the box and he thinks, I'm going to shoot. I've got the urge to shoot because it's the only way that we can beat this mid to low block hybrid. Yeah. I've got the urge. Of course, I want to stick it in top bins. Yeah. Of course, I want to score. How can I? So the urge is one thing. The actual possibility of doing that is a totally different thing because what they see to what we see, two different worlds. So, and Ange and the way that he plays, a lot of people are calling out Ange's system and we're flat and we're this and we're that and we've lost it. And we haven't lost it. It's just that the other teams have figured out how to beat a dominant team like Spurs, right? So it's all relative. So the urge to shoot when the chance is there, is the chance there though? I go back to what I said before. When you're looking at it from the television, which is up here, and your player is down here, from our point of view, yeah, shoot, you've got it. But when you're down here looking towards the goal, you might not see it. Because what we see and what they see is totally different. So is the chance there, is my question to Neil. Is it there? Perspective.
Yeah, but I think so. So when I watched, who was it? Was it Man City Brentford the other day? I watched that game, and Man City reminiscent. Brentford were playing a low block. Man City were doing exactly what we were doing. They were doing the horseshoe rondo, doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
And they weren't getting past them. They brought Jeremy Doku on in the hope that would get someone beyond them, and it didn't seem to work until there was that fluff up on the edge of the box where Brentford were on the attack, lost the ball on the edge of the box. 3 passes later, Haaland's scores a goal. They go 1-0 up, and then the low block is then no longer. because then Brentford have got to
No.
come out slightly. So the
Yes.
low block was there no longer. So therefore, then
Yes.
Doku was able to get in behind them and that because they didn't double tag,
Yes.
they didn't do all the stuff that you're describing. But
Correct.
during the game before they got that goal,
Mhm.
you can see that Rodri was taking shots, and
Yep.
I've seen Rodri take many a shot, and it be saved by the keeper, and be parried, and it gets parried in
Yep.
front of an on-rushing Man City player, puts it in the back of the net, and that's where I'm thinking to myself: has Neil got a point here? Because I
Yeah.
can't recall the last time we had a shot against a low block team. Surely, regardless of how well it's drilled, and regardless of whether you're watching in the skies or not, if you've got a ball, because sometimes they're getting the ball with a player not even 5 yards near them, but they're still doing the horseshoe. So I'm just saying, why don't you just take a shot, take a chance? I don't think I can remember the last time that we took a chance. So that's what I was saying. Has Neil got a point here about us not taking a shot?
Probably have.
Sorry, Daniel Lee, big up, Jose. I've literally gone to work, finished my shift, listening to yous at work, and you're still going strong. Smithy, not a bad result, 6-0, Jose Senor. So the under-21s have won their cup game against Fleetwood 6-0. Does anyone know what the score was in the under-18s cup game at Manchester City? Someone was saying it was 1-1 nearing the end of extra time, but I don't know the final result because no one's passed that on to us. Daniel Lee, we don't have a lot of dribblers in the team. Neil says, so beat the low block somehow. Man City and Liverpool are doing okay. Neil loves Ange's system and believes that Kane would be scoring in this system.
Yeah.
David Shear, right. Good night, Jose and Chris, and all in the chat. Have a great show. Good night, David. Good night. Take care, mate. Take care. The under-18s lost 2-1, so they must have lost right at the death. Mark Cousins is telling us it was 2-1 as well. Oh, well, the under-18s are out of the cup then. Unlucky to the under-18s because it must have been at the death. And I know that they were playing at City today. Daniel Lee saying, I'm not calling out the system. I'm just wondering, can he please me and can he please be more adaptable more when he comes into his game management? Right, saying that, go on, Chris. You carry on because I'm just going to check for the football scores because I think all the football is now kicked off. Go on, carry on, Chris.
Right, yeah, okay. So to answer this a bit, it goes back to what the other comment was regarding Man City and Liverpool, and what we were talking about the other day. Well, I don't think I was on with you. I'm not sure, but I was commenting. I think you got to have the right tools. Man City have tools to bore people to death, and Liverpool have tools to bore people to death. We don't have the right tools to do what they do. We don't have the same manager as they do. We don't have the same philosophy as they do. You can't compare teams. You can't compare managers. You can't, right? To beat a low block, you've got the essentials of football. Football has been written for years. To beat a low block, you have to do this. To beat a mid block, you have to do this. To play in a high block, you have to do this. To play in a mid to low, mid to high, you have to do this. Those are the bare essentials. Now, if you've got a player that is faster, that is not as fast, but is technically gifted, that blah, blah, blah. You can go into details all day long, right? But Spurs cannot be compared to individual player for player to Man City or to Liverpool. So, yes, they're doing it and we're not. Why? Because we're totally different. Because they've got better players than we have. That's basically it. And when it all comes down to it doesn't work, swinging the ball and Haaland will get onto it. We don't have that. If you want to strip away all the BS that I'm talking about, for example, swing it in, Haaland will get on the end of it, which Alisson won't. You just got different players. So you've got more output, more possibilities, and more probabilities from those two teams than we have because we're not a finished product.
And I think Adrian agrees with you, mate, because you're saying that there's a goal in the Premier. Aston Villa 1, Forest 0, Ollie Watkins on 4 minutes. You've got Adrian Striker saying Ange doesn't have enough quality players to implement his system when we lose key players. So he's agreeing with you.
That's correct. But even if you don't lose key players, even if you don't lose them, right? Even if you're at full strength, You can't compare Sonny down the left to Salah or to Diego Jota. Diego Jota is an incredible player. Now, Sonny at 31, 32, whatever he is now, 32. As much as we love Sonny, if you look at it from a footballing fan's perspective, Diego Jota scores goals for fun. He's more mobile. He's more technical than Sonny, right? If you take your T-shirt off and just look at it, right? I'd rather have Diego Jota, who is 24, 25, 26, whatever he is, 27, than Sonny, because he gives me more. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is, right? And it just makes total sense to me. I'm sorry. So
yeah,
that's just an example.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. We've got here. Oh, wrong button. Agreed. It's not really fair to compare us to Liverpool City. I get that. Look at the quality of difference. Right. So the other day, I made a comment, and my comment, I put it into the chat of somebody else's show. I called it the word perspective, because you can only type in 250 words when you're putting a comment into the chat. So I put down perspective, and then I put down Klopp 9 years, Pep 9 years, Arteta 5 years, Emery 2 years. Then we were in fifth, so I put us down at put Ainge down 7 months. Then it was Ten Hag 2 years, De Zerbi 2 to 3 years. So looking at everybody's teams and that, and I just put that down to people, because people are losing their shit over at Tottenham at the moment, and after we lost 2-1, and I just put them words down, perspective, and look, and these are the ages and the time frames that these managers have been at clubs. You can see green shoots at Tottenham now, but you're not going to see an article until you've been playing together for a few years. I was talking last night on the shows about Liverpool's, for me, the 3 players that when they had Firmino, Salah, Mane. They brought 3 players together. None of them are a number 9. All 3 learnt each other's game inside out, so they knew their patterns of playing there. They would interchange between the 3 of them, and that there was not a number 9 between them. And they went on to score goals, and they looked as potent as anybody in Europe, that front 3. So at the end of the day, people have got to put it in perspective. What Ainge is doing is 7 months in, he's trying to build something for the future and get the right players to play his system. The luxury that some of his other teams have got is they've got the right players in their system, and they have had, and there's a philosophy and a style of play they've had for a number of seasons. Aston Villa look like they do now because Unai Emery made changes since he's got there, and he's had 3 to 4 transfer windows to get what he's got at the moment. You know, if you look at De Zerbi, okay, they have to sell players and that, but De Zerbi has moulded a team to play the way that he sees. Fraudetta as well. Love him or hate him. Got rid within the first 2 seasons, really bumpy at Arsenal, and he had to get rid of the players that he didn't want there, the toxicity out of the club. Done all that, and now 3 years after he did all that. So for the first 2 years, he was cleaning shit out, and then for the next 3 years, he's been building this. He's been there for 5 years, and you can see the fruits of his labour as well now. So, you know, and Pep and Guardiola go without saying. You can see the fruits of their labour, but their fruits of their labour have probably been the longest in the Premiership. So people need to look into perspective. We haven't got, we can't be compared to these other teams. The process that we're under at the moment is nowhere near the process that everyone else has gone through. We're nowhere near that yet. I was saying earlier, Chris, I'm going to jump to the next one. I said earlier, someone asked a question in the chat before you came on, long before you came on, and they said something along the lines of, someone said, I think we'll get 4 players in the summer. And off the top of my head, I just turned around and said, well, I'd be looking to get 6 players in. And I was kind of looked at strangely, and then I thought about it, and I thought, after I've said this verbally, I then thought about it, and I thought, okay, 2 seasons ago when we signed Forster, Perisic, Richarlison, and them kind of players back then, Bissouma, we brought 6 players in. So it's two summers ago, yeah? Last summer, how many players did we bring in? So I started thinking about it, and I counted that we brought Vicario in, Van der Ven, Maddison,
Madison.
Solomon, Johnson, Veliz,
Mhm.
Ashley Phillips, if you want. So there's more than 6 players there we brought in. So for me, saying that I'd like to see 6 players brought in the summer, it's kind of like the average for the kind of the amount of players that we've brought in the past. So I think to myself, we get rid of some dead weight because we're going to have to shift Reggie on, Ndombele, Rodon, these players that don't make up, Spence, these players that are not occupying one of the 25 spots at the moment. But if you're going to bring players in, unless they're under 21s and they don't count for your squad, you're going to have to get rid of some of your squad crap that you've got. So I'm thinking to myself, we need to be bringing at least 6 players in and getting rid of some shit as well. But the 6 players that we bring in have to be and will be the ones that Postecoglou sees fits his system and that. And then for me, you will then see a squad at the start of next season that will look totally different to the squad we finished up this season with, and totally different by then to the squad we finished up last season with. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. I mean, and of course, six might even be fall short because obviously it depends on it depends on what you can shift. But I'm sure that Ange and Johan Langer already have this sorted out quite a while ago, and I think that 6, fair number. But I mean, off the top of my head, I'm not going to be able to say 6, 8, 9, 7. I don't know, but they know already. I could probably say 2 or 3 more than possibly you because of personal reasons, because I don't like them, or because, you know what I mean. You might say I want Richarlison to stay because he could be a good second, it's just an example, right? He could be a good backup striker. Yeah, because he works hard and whatever. I say I don't want him near the squad. I don't want him near Spurs. So that's one that you've got to shift. So then you've got to get one in, and you've got to get a backup striker. So then that's 2. Because if you don't put your trust in Velith because he's too young, who are you going to have as a backup striker? So automatically you need 2, right? But then you've got to get a good left back, or are you going to keep Davies, who's a good squad player? He's a good team player. He does his job, but he's a year older. He might not want to. So it's all context. It depends on. So I don't know, but 6 is a good number to start with, but it could be more than that.
No, I think we need more than that, Chris. But
yeah.
But you've got to do it each window, haven't you? You can't. Every manager does it each window. No one does it carte blanche. Well, apart from Nottingham Forest when they first came out and they bought 33 players in the summer window. Yeah. Nobody else has never ever done this. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
Therefore, I was saying 6 just as a number. Yeah. But yeah, don't get me wrong, Chris. I think that by the time you look at season 2, the end of season 2 and the beginning of season 3 with Postecoglou, and then you go back to the squad that he inherited before his first transfer window, it's going to look like night and day. This is what other clubs do. They refresh their squads, and they don't let it go stale where you've got players, or you've got 4, 5, 6, 7 players that have been there for 8 seasons or more. They don't have that.
And from a coaching point of view, I'm not sure how Ange functions, but the question I would pose or ask myself, or I'd like to pose him, was now you've got the first summer after the first season, obviously big transfer window now in the summer. Would you prefer to get 6 in now and maybe 3 in the winter, right? Or would you prefer to get 9 or 10 in now and work with 9 or 10 now so you can drill that system in now? Or would you rather get the majority in now and a few in later? What would you prefer, Ange? Do you know what I mean? Because if you work with your proper squad now from the summer onwards, you've got more chance to drill everything in now as opposed to get 5 now and 5 later. Because then you've got to start work with new players again. It's like starting all over. But if you've got everyone in now, or the majority, at least 75%, at least you've got that work done. You see.
Yeah, but I think that, and I understand what you're saying. And in an ideal world, that's what you'd like to do. But in an ideal world, you're not starting with an bloated squad, and that's what we're starting with, because you've got 25 players plus all the ones out. So we're starting over bloated already, right? Now it's a case of if I thought for 1 minute that we could get rid of 10 players like that quite easy, right? Then I'm looking to bring 10 players in, Chris, straight away. I'd do it that way. But I don't know how quickly we're going to get rid of the players. I think the problem is not bringing players in, because the problem is getting the players out, or has been. It's got better in the last 2 transfer windows. Because before the last 2 transfer windows, we're talking about what I just said a minute ago, where you had 5, 6, 7 players that have been with us for 7 years plus. That's what it seemed like. They've been with us forever and a day. So to me, if I knew that we could shift players, then I'd try and bring the majority in the summer. And that's what teams do. They try to bring the majority. So if you look at our winter and summer and winter transfer dealings, the majority have always been done in the summer, because that's what teams do. But
they normally are done like that,
Yeah, but the thing is also as well is if they're going to go on you get the season ends, you get probably nowadays you only probably get about 3 weeks off once the season ends, and then you're back in pre-season straight away. So you get about 3 weeks off, and then for some reason you're back in pre-season. It will be like that this year because we've got the Euros, haven't we? So it'll be about most of the players are only going to get 3 weeks off, and then going to be back in pre-season. Some of the players are not playing internationally, which is hard to believe that hard to believe that Premiership teams won't lose players to the Euros, because they will. Then once they come back, if you knew that, let's pick the 10 number now, Chris. If you knew that there was a possibility that you had deals in place for five players straight away at the end of the season, then that's going to be helpful for you in order to see how many players you're going to bring in. But with the summer transfer window, what usually tends to happen is deals are done right across the transfer window. Some go to the last day. And therefore, it's difficult to try and assess how many players you're going to bring in. Now, I don't know of many clubs that want to pay salaries on top of the 25-man squad, in the sense of, we're going to have 6 players sitting down doing fuck all, getting paid full wage for doing nothing, and they haven't gone out on loan or anything. They're just sitting there. They're just not being picked in the 25-man squad. So no team wants to do that. So I can understand the difficulties that the team, that Tottenham and other teams experience. But like you said, we now have McDermott, Langer, Munn, all these players. Or Paratici's still there. Postecoglou's told him who he wants and who doesn't want. But Postecoglou can't do the transfer dealings. Or he certainly can't do the selling of players. He might influence by picking up the phone and speaking to a potential signing, but he can't get rid of the players. That's for others to do. So providing they're already doing the job in the background and they're already building this list of who they want to get out.
Hang on a minute. But knowing how Ange operates to get players in, when he picks up the phone and says, within 2 years, you're going to be whatever you are, or you're going to be playing for... But he can do that with players going out as well, I'm sure, because he has that savvy, not like know-how, and he gets to people and he has a message to give. And it's like, listen, son, your career's over here, or in a roundabout way. But why don't you go down to Port Vale? Why don't you go down to Middlesbrough? Why don't you go down to... Because you're going to get like 30-odd games there, definitely. And you can revive your career. Don't be sitting down here on the bench doing F all. You know what I mean? That's a way... I'm just inventing. But I'm sure that he has a way of getting to people, and saying... I think it's difficult. I think it's difficult. I agree with you, Chris, but I think it's difficult at the moment, because what you want to do is you want to keep that squad united for the remainder of the season. And if you start telling people, start having the words in people's ear already, you're not good enough, we're not going to keep you next year. Not
that's
now.
Really harsh.
Not now, but when the time comes to get either people in or going out, I'm sure that the same way that he has get players of attracting players in, I'm sure he has a way of getting players out.
I think he did it with I think he did it with Winks, and Winks was a very, very quick sale, because Winks was done right at the start of the transfer window. He must have had a chat with Winks and said, look, you'll be better off, you're going to find something. But he's had that chat because Winks has been on loan at Sampa and he's come back. And by the time he's come back from loan, then Ange is now the manager when he's come back. They've had that conversation. That happened pretty quickly, that sale to Leicester. And I hope that happens again this summer to certain players. Right, so just going back to Adrian said, the only time our front three clicked away was to Burnley with Solomon, Son, and Kulusevski. Adrian's then saying Klopp took 2 years and lost 2 cup finals before he won something with Liverpool. Football. Daniel Lee says, what year did Klopp take over? Took about 3 years for him to get near a title race. Mark Sutton says 6 ready-made players, though not squad fillers. Mark, if you've been watching me for the last couple of days on shows and forever a day, I've said that the players that you bring in must affect the first team, i.e. challenge for places, for starting places in the first team. Not to bring players and say, yeah, he's going to be good for our squad or he's going to be good for our bench. We want players that are oven ready, like we said, to challenge for the first team. And I've maintained that all the way through. Neil, Spurs have the potential for greatness very soon in terms of squad. That's on the verge. But in this, if this same squad played in City shirts or Liverpool shirts, you would have winners already. Mentality. Ange's building mentality. That's the missing link. Ellie says, this reminds me of our 4-hour streams, guys. Neil's gone back to 90% is about mentality. Otherwise, you wouldn't have Leicester and their likes winning leagues. Mark Cousins, Levy will back Ange enough to get 4th. That's all he wants. Adrian says, we need a left back, right back, centre back, cam, left wing, and striker. Ellie says, if the 9 are quality, yes. If 5 can, if it's 5, it can work. With 4 youngsters, we can't get used. I prefer 5 quality and the other 4 quality in January. Adrian says we need to shift Rodon, Spence, Reguilon, Tanganga, Højbjerg, Emerson, Sessegnon, and Skip. Where is my man Ndombele on your list, Adrian? You haven't got Ndombele there. You've got Rodon, Spence, Reguilon, Tanganga, Højbjerg, Emerson, Sessegnon, Skip. You do not have an Ndombele there. I'm so shocked at you, sir. And you go to the home. You go to the stadium week in, week out, and you're not telling me about Ndombele. Wow. Neil says, Rodon and Højbjerg gone if you want. They are wanted. Adrian says, Ange, Scott Munn, Johan Lange, Rob McKenzie. I said called him McDermott, didn't I? Chief Scout are the recruitment team. Neil says, I think Gill will go too. Neil and he said, Adrian says, I forgot Hill. Adrian, did you forget Ndombele, Mr. Burger King? Did you forget him? Yeah, look, oops, I forgot Ndomberger and Hill. Neil says, so they should get him at Leeds then. I expect them and Leicester to come up. Who knows though? Right, what was he saying? Jose, as I'm L and I tell so much and have a cockerel in my garden in the pen, does that mean I'm L tell cockerel too? God, you certainly thrown me a curveball there, Ellie. Daniel say he's that worthless of a signing. Ndombele, he forgot about him. Yeah. So just to say, the scores haven't changed. 23 to 25 minutes gone in the Premiership, and Villa are the only ones that are 1-0 up at the moment. Right, I'm going to have to go shopping soon. So, Chris, is there anything else you want to talk about, mate? That get the chat going.
No, nothing. Literally, the great Alex Ferguson, who I don't think is the best manager ever, but that's just me. It's just wrote down here. Signed for Man U 86, won his first title FA Cup 89-90. So that's 3 years you've got for the great Alex Ferguson. Okay, so that's 3 years, right? Scratching his ass. Okay, so 3 years it takes to get the ball rolling. Sometimes you win something in your first season. Sometimes you don't win anything at all. It's football. You could be a second away from winning something. You could be years away from winning anything or nothing. it's football. Sometimes you're better, sometimes you're worse, sometimes it's never going to happen. All we can do is back our teams, the ones that we support, or the only one we support. So thank you, Neil, for coming here.
Cheers, Neil. Thank you very much, mate. And tap in next week and you'll find out about your predictions. Neil, thank you.
So yeah, I mean, all we can do is suffer when it goes bad and be happy when it goes well, and just understand that it's not all 2D. Things happen for a reason, and sometimes it just doesn't go our way, and that's it, you know. So you know, hit the like, Neil, if you haven't already. Always helps Jose in the channel.
So they keep telling me. I don't know how much it's going to help me because I'm tiny, but they keep saying it helps. So I'm believing what I'm being told. Scientifically, I don't know whether it's true or not and whether it's accurate, but I get told that hitting the like button improves the algorithms. So
you know what, I whenever I had to leave my channel for a while, I actually gained 4 subs. I don't know why. Because I left or 4 or 6, because I left on 102, 104, and one day I just checked and it was 108. I'm like, I haven't been doing anything. I haven't got a clue why.
But you don't have to do because people can still see your content.
Yeah, I understand that, but I was just like, I haven't been doing absolutely anything and been nowhere near it. I don't know when I'm going to come back, if I ever come back, and just I'm like, what am I doing with 108? It's just, you know what I mean? So, but still, it's just funny how it works that way. So, you know.
Yeah. Right. So to me, yeah, you've actually got, there's 4 games at the moment. Bournemouth playing Man City at 5:30. Okay. The Arsenal-Newcastle game, I believe that if anyone was interested in that game, the Arsenal-Newcastle game is on Amazon tonight. I don't know how comes. That's the only game that I think is on Amazon. I don't know where the Bournemouth City game, but being a 5:30 game, I suppose that Sky or TNT will have that game. So just to mark people's cards. Obviously, the 3 o'clock kickoffs, the only way you can watch these 3 o'clock kickoffs is if you have a Fire Stick or you know someone who knows someone who knows someone for the 3 o'clock Premiership games. That's how you manage to get to see them. So Ellie says, curveball thrown, Jose. Yes, you do this to me. You do this to me, else. But yeah, sorry, there was one more question starred. We'll answer this before we wrap up, mate. It's easier.
Sure.
Right. This is, look, from Adrian. Where are Conte and Mourinho going? Interesting. Where do you think?
Yeah. I don't know, because there was a rumor at the beginning of last season, right, for this one, that Inter and Inzaghi were going through a rough patch, and that Conte already had an agreement with Inter for this season, and that didn't go through for some reason because Inzaghi's still there. But I don't know where these kind of managers will go, because Mourinho seems to be out of date. He seems to be, to me at least, he seems to be kind of like one of those managers that are like, even if he renews his knowledge, you know, and keeps up to date with the times of, you know, the way football changes and stuff like that, he seems to be someone that's out of date with the world of football. I don't know. He's just the concepts and Conte. I'm sure he'd be somewhere near Italy again. Rumors coming out of Juve that the fans don't want Allegri. Could be Conte going back to Juve, although Thiago Motta, who played for Barcelona and Inter, could be going to Juve because he's doing a great job at Bologna. So, to be honest, Adrian, good question that, but Conte, Mourinho.
We have another goal. Aston Villa have just gone 2-0 up with Douglas Luiz on 30 minutes. So it's Villa 2, Forest 0. They're the only goals in the Premiership so far. Carry on, Chris. Sorry, go on.
No. But basically, huge question marks. I'm sure Conte would have something going on in Italy somehow, somewhere. But Mourinho is the big question mark for me, because I don't see him back in England. I don't see him in Germany, unless Bayern Munich are really struggling to get someone in. I don't think that's going to be the case. Whether it be Nagelsmann or whether it be Xabi Alonso, what you're saying, But I don't know where Mourinho would go. I just do not know, unless he goes to France, because he hasn't done anything there, has he? I don't know.
Adrian is saying, is Newcastle a possibility or a German club?
For either of those two.
Scott M, good evening, good afternoon, Scott, or good morning to you, Scott, because you're at least 6 hours behind me. Says, good morning to you, Scott. You're telling me it's 2-0 to Villa. And Daniel Lee saying, Mourinho, only career path now as a manager. This is an international management. His mojo at club level went years ago.
Yeah, seems to be.
I thought I'd heard, I don't know how wild this is, but I thought I'd heard 2 rumours a while ago about Conte going to Napoli or going to AC, not Inter, but AC Milan.
Right. AC Milan seem to be a bit of a strange club because they've got Stefano Pioli, and I think they're bringing in, or the rumours at least, what I'm seeing on Twitter, is that they're bringing in some kind of who was it? The number 2 that they used to have, and he's been everywhere. He's been in loads of Italian clubs, and he's been like lasting 2-3 months, 6 months, and he's been everywhere, but he hasn't lasted anywhere like a long time. And they're apparently bringing him in to take over from Pioli, which I think is a bit strange. But I don't know about next season. Could he go to Milan? Possibly. I mean, I don't know. It's a good bet. It's a good club for him. Anything's possible. But yeah, Mourinho.
The things that Ellie does, look, Ephios, I hope you're well. I hope QPR are winning, mate. I just like the other channel, El Toro Cockerel, said, I won't get my dinner, Jose. So Ellie's told her husband she won't get her dinner. He won't get his dinner unless he puts a like into the stream. I hope you're well, sir. And as I said, I hope QPR do the business for you today. But thank you very much. Thank you. You've also got Danny saying, I heard Zlatan was trying to get Conte at AC Milan.
Possibly.
And Adrian saying, Conte to Juventus, Mourinho to Frei Bentos.
Yeah, I mean, the Conte to Juve is always going to be there because of his connection as a player and as an ex-manager. But I think that, I don't know, but what they're talking about, that Thiago Motta is doing a very, very good job at Bologna, and he is on the cards at least. So, but Conte is always going to be an option for Juve. So, but who knows?
See, unlike here in England, I don't know how, because you live in Spain, Chris, so I don't know how regionalised or nationalised it is in Spain. But in Italy, there doesn't seem to be that rivalry amongst managers. If you manage one club, you can manage 6 in Italy. It doesn't really matter who you manage. People can do the rounds in Italy, but here in England, but people here in England don't tend to do that, and I don't think it happens too much in Spain with managers either. They don't care if there's a merry-go-round or not, do they, in Spain? But they're very particular here in England, though.
Well, I mean, like if you've played for one, you can play for the other, and
yeah.
I mean, in Spain, you wouldn't. I mean, it's very, very. It's not very common if you play for Madrid, you play for Barcelona, or if you've managed one, you wouldn't manage the other. That's not common. Like Deportivo Celta de Vigo, or Sporting Gijón, Oviedo, or Espanyol Barcelona, or Valencia. Although over there it doesn't seem too much because Marcelino, he managed Valencia and he managed Villarreal, and but he's not even Valencia. He's from Asturias. He doesn't really care. But the clubs, they don't care. But in Italy, it seems like, look at all the players that have played for Milan and have played for Inter. Like look at Çalhanoğlu. Çalhanoğlu is played for Inter Milan now for a few seasons, and before that he played for Milan without any problem whatsoever. So over there they're not worried about these things. But over in Spain, it's awful. How can you play for Madrid if you play for Barcelona? It's disgusting, and I was talking. I know you understand what you're saying about footballers and that, but I was talking more about the managers, because you've got someone like Conte. Conte's managed at Inter, he's managed at Juve, he's managed somewhere else as well, I think, as well. And then you've got
Mourinho's managed at Inter. Mourinho's managed at Roma. And there's other managers that have seen. Sarri's been about. He's managed at a few places. And you seem to have managers that have done the rounds and managed at a few clubs in Italy. And but it would be, well, you know, if you've managed Juve, you could never manage Inter. So there's been a red card at Crystal Palace Burnley. It's Josh Brownhill from Burnley has got a straight red card for bringing down Jefferson Lerma on the edge of the area. So there is a red card there. A red card. Crystal Palace Burnley. Burnley down to 10 men. Aston Villa currently leading Forest 2-0. These games have got 10 to 15 minutes left till the end of half time. Adrian says Napoli have imploded this season, yet they have. Ellie's come to the party and told us our 21s are battering Fleetwood under 21 6-0. Ellie, the game has finished 6-0. We've had about 4 people here in the chat that have been watching it and giving us a regular updates. In Adrian, Lee Smithy Smith, who else did we have? We had Rob Belcher giving us running commentary. We had 4 people, and there's another person as well. We had running commentary from 4 people, which is quite good. Scott M. Conte with De Laurentiis would be explosive. Not sure it would work, but they need him. Adrian saying Mourinho would fit the defensive style of Atletico Madrid. Daniel Lee says, well, ask Luis Figo how that turned out when he left Barca for Madrid. I don't think he wanted to take corners at the Nou Camp that much.
that story is that's awful, that story. Because he wanted a pay rise because he thought that he was the star at Barcelona, and he rightfully was. But you had Rivaldo, who the presidency or the board gave a pay rise to. So he felt bitter about that. And his agent, basically, because Florentino Perez, who was the aspiring new president for Real Madrid, said, right, well, you can sign for us if I win the election to become Madrid president. And he said, yeah, whatever, you're not going to win because you're nobody. Nobody knows you. And he goes, yeah, okay, but if I become Real Madrid president, you have to pay 60 million euro fine, right, which is about 50 million pound fine. Perez became Real Madrid president, and Figo said to the presidency of Barcelona, I don't want to go. Even though you paid Rivaldo you've increased his wage, I will maintain my wage. I don't care, but I don't want to go to Real Madrid. Please help me in paying this fine because I gave my word to him. And they said, we're not paying any fine. That's your business. That you made the deal with the devil. We're not paying any fine because that means that we have to give 50 million pounds to Real Madrid. Are you stupid? So in the end, he had to go to Real Madrid, and he's hated now in Barcelona for that. So, but yeah, about the corners, well, screw Figo. He was, and now he proclaims his unconditional love for Madrid and the club, and like he was born there. He's an idiot. So it's just silly stuff.
It just goes to show that he probably preferred playing, instead of playing with Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, and all them players at Barca. He obviously preferred playing with Zidane, Ronaldo, and Beckham.
Probably, yeah.
There
I
we
mean,
go.
who wouldn't? I mean,
I'm saying it in jest, mate. I'm saying it in jest. I'm not serious.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but that's true. That's true. I mean, but who wouldn't? I mean, who wouldn't want to play with great players? But I mean, he had it all at Barcelona. He was a number one. He was so loved since the mid-90s that he just sold himself.
1-0 down. We're losing 0-1. So I presume you're at home then. If you're losing 1-0 to Rotherham,
who's that? QPR.
And you're pushing hard for an equaliser. We've got another score coming in from Villa, saying that they've gone 3-0 up to Scott M. It's not showing up for me at the moment, but I take you at 3-0. It is Douglas Luiz 3-0. What prediction did I go for? I know I'm going to get a point at least. I've gone for 3-2. That's not going to happen now, is it? I've gone Villa 3-2. At the moment, has anyone got the correct prediction at the moment? I'm just going to check, just out of curiosity. Nate Pye has 3-0 at the moment. Hasper TV has got 4-0. It says they score another one. There's lots of 3-1s and 3-2s I can see here. But only one person has the correct score line, and if they were to score a fourth goal, then we have someone who has that correct score line.
Well, it's going to be a game of two halves.
Fair enough. But they're pushing off for an equaliser. Scott M's telling us it's gone 3-0. Daniel Lee says, I still to this day think one of the best achievements in football was getting them Barca and Real Madrid players to actually cooperate as a team when Spain were at their best. Yep, that certainly was, because they were a bit like the England team used to be, where it used to be regional under teams. They were united, but Spain don't play under the Spanish flag, unfortunately. That's the only downside to it, is that they don't play under the Spanish flag. They play under their own regional flags. So when they won the World Cup, they all brought out their region. They draped themselves with regional flags. Not one player put the national flag around their waist, or over them or whatever. Right, with that being said, it's coming up to half time, and I really do have to go shopping. So I'm going to call it a day. Chris, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure being on with you again.
Yeah, sure.
As I said, I was only doing this. It was only impromptu. I didn't even set up the thumbnail or nothing for it. I just thought I'd come on and try and catch people before the kickoffs that hadn't put predictions in, because I saw there was people that were missing that normally do it. And in fact, I've ended up managing to catch. Bloody hell! I've caught 7 new players, and then I also managed to catch in the chat. We caught up with Wayne Bonner live, and somebody else. There's 2 people that we did it live with, and then the rest of them were new players, which is good. So I've managed to get everyone in. Scott M's here. I forgot about Scotty M. Scott M's played this before. Scott, if I went through it and showed you the fixtures on the screen on the banners, would you like to enter your predictions for this week? There's only 8 games, and if you do, mate, the first game is Villa Forest. So it's your opportunity to take part. If you want to take part, let me know, and I'll do these before I finish off now, because there's only 8 games. Oh no, you can't do Villa Forest because these 4 of the games are kicked off. Sorry, you can only take place from the next game. Right, sorry, Scott. If you want to enter, you can do 4 of the 8 games. You can do Bournemouth versus City if you want. So you would have missed out on 4, but you can do 50% of them if you want, because there's 4 games yet to be played this week. There's only 8 games. So 4 are being played now, and then you can do the other 4. There's a comment in there. Is that from Scott? 2 comments in there now. Right. Sorry, I'm driving, so I can't. Okay, Scott, that's fair enough, mate. Don't worry about it. Yeah, Daniel, I did call that. I did realise what I did, and then I went to the 4th game. Look, as it is, I am going to go because I've got to shoot off and I've got to do some shopping and that. But can I say thank you to everyone? Well, thank you to Chris, firstly, for coming on. As I said,
no problem. It's
been a pleasure having Chris on again. As Chris comes back to the world of YouTube. Let's see if Chris gets the bug again. But that remains to be seen. That's down to Chris. It's Chris's body. And for all the people that have joined us on the chat throughout the stream today, as I said, it was only one to get out the predictions and that, but we ended up talking a whole host of things about football, and I ended up snaring some more people for predictions and that. So can I thank each and every one of you for tuning in. I hope you will have a really, really good remainder of your weekends for yourselves. And I wish you nothing but health and happiness to every single one of you. Ellie, to your daughter, big hug, loves, and best wishes on her road to recovery. And that's it. thank you very much, everyone. And as I say always, it's come on, you Spurs. And
Cool.
in Ange